you do that. Hey, we're live now. Thank you for the warning.
We're live in -5.
I clicked the button because I
morning,
was so
friendos.
excited about the information I wanted to give.
Okay,
Goodness.
The information is purely that I figured out what my completely useless special skill is. Any animal that I can make the sound of, I can add a Doppler effect to.
Oh, so you can make a rapidly advancing bear versus a rapidly retreating bear.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So if I can make the noise, then I can make it turn up, or I can make it leave.
There's a moment where it's like, I've discovered my completely useless ability. If I can make the noise of an animal, I can summon it. It's just like,
there's that vague moment where suddenly I'm worrying about little details like Tyrannosaurus Rex, hangs out watching Jurassic Park, suddenly Melbourne vanishes. I mean,
And reappears in Sydney because that's what I want always.
does it need to be conscious, or you just like sneeze weird and suddenly there's this thing?
Oh.
There's a possum just next to you. Like,
I would love that. I would love that. I don't know if you've spent much time up close with possums, but they're so cute. They're so cute. They're feral.
Yes, they are. It's like
But they're so cute.
My favorite thing was like someone shared a post for a while where it was like a picture of like an Australian possum and a picture of an American one.
Oh,
and being like,
opossum.
an opossum, and possum.
Yeah.
Which and the caption was like, does anyone else feel like these two got shipped to the wrong address, given like what the rest of Australia's animal life is like? And all of us were just like, yeah, you haven't. That's a still image.
You haven't seen
And so a friend of mine would like while she was traveling through Europe, someone was like, she like had bookmarked a YouTube video, which was just like the mating sound of the Australian possum. So because so many people were going, possums are so great, and she was like,
oh no,
just started playing it, and they went, what the hell is that? Like, that's a possum.
You should hear a koala. They're interesting
No,
too.
they
have a time. So now I've learned that I need to learn a load of animal noises, because if I can Doppler effect them, I now have. If you can make them show up and leave, you should really know how to make the noises to make them show up and leave.
I'm just going to say I'm vaguely concerned about the idea that you're going to be wandering around randomly making Australian possum mating noises with Doppler shift in public places just to see the reaction on people's faces.
High speed possum.
People already think I'm weird. There's no like I've lived in Australia for long enough for people to like just the whole population knows I'm weird. So it's not. I'm not concerned.
Just knows instinctually.
Yeah. Like almost literally, like that's actually kind of how it is.
I suppose. I mean, you've been on tour for how many years?
Well, 2 years worth of touring. Like that's
yeah.
They know.
They know. They're clued in now.
It was a weird situation when someone from my like teenage high school Shakespeare show that toured around turned up at Book of Mormon, and I was like. I just spent a solid 2 hours saying fuck you. And I remember you in your school when you were 15. Good for you. Good for you.
Yeah.
I remember the high school touring years, also known as the Facebook on private years.
Oh man, the Facebook on private years, they didn't end. I'm a psychologist now. They didn't end.
I was just going to say, I was lucky we didn't have Facebook.
Yeah.
I got away with murder and still wound up the slightly square and completely plain and not at all unusual individual. So I have no records.
Michelle, this was us performing for kids in high school.
Yeah, this is us performing.
Who would try and
for kids.
add us on various social media platforms, and
Fair
you're
enough.
like, no, child.
There were a number of
Oh,
like,
please.
do you want to go on a date with me? No.
No.
No, actually. I am in fact 24 years old. And you're 15. No. Actually.
You're
no.
a literal child.
You are literally a child. No.
Yeah.
I do not.
To be fair, I more often got, can we have a beatbox battle?
Well,
love
you
that.
know.
That's what I
that.
get for beatboxing in a show with children.
I love
Well,
that for
you know, I mean, legit. If you showed up with
Yeah.
Pokemon cards, you'd got the same answer, only with different spelling.
Exactly.
It's true.
And I would have crushed them in that one too.
Thank you, everyone. We're gonna try to keep Jamie out of prison now.
I just want to beat some kids. Pokemon cards.
I feel like that needs clipping. That needs clipping. Out of context. Hang on. We're only Jamie. We're 6 minutes in. It's
No
6
context
minutes
for you.
6 minutes. I'm writing it down. I'm going to make a note. I'm going to clip it.
No context for you.
Sorry, and then I just finally got the actual stream turned on. Love the artwork, by the way. But I flipped to the mod screen, and the first thing I see is mod actions. Booty added as permitted term. Her butt added as permitted term. Nice added as permitted term. We had a really good stream last week, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
To be fair, there was a very good portion of the show which was very specifically about that, and we felt bad that chat couldn't join in.
Yeah. I love that now it sounds like we were talking about my butt. And I have no desire at all to change the views of chat on that. Let's just leave it there. Oh, I just realized I don't have dice. Hang on.
I think KJ is selling you out in chat, Michelle.
I saw that, yes. Thank you. Deeply appreciated.
So how are we?
What are you cuddling?
I'm cuddling my little dragon. It's my dice bag dragon.
That's amazing.
Oh, that is fantastic.
Yeah, it's my
I
dragon
like that.
baggin.
Mm-hmm.
Hio, is that you? Sam's reaction.
Wow. Sorry, I was busy.
He was clipping.
You were clipping.
I was.
I see.
LGBTQ Theo, Hio, that is fantastic. So, I as part of my things I do, I work for a government organization, and every once in a while I see government emails go by as a result. And it's fascinating that the one thing I have never seen them acronym is LGBTQ2+. They spell it out every time. It winds up occupying 2 lines in a standard email.
Yeah,
form,
and
by
it
the way.
has to. They kind of have to, because they can't acknowledge it's real. But also, I'm sure they don't do that because it changes.
I think that is in fact they're trying to make sure that the problem is
everyone.
Yeah, and like for example, the version I was talking about by the 2 means two-spirited, because we have a lot of First Nations, right? We have a lot of First Nations.
Why are First Nations being?
Because we're in Canada.
No. Sorry. Why not at that point? At the point where you're adding First Nations into this, surely you would just say
no. Two-spirited is the preferred First Nations term for folks who are.
I understand now. Thank you. Sorry,
Yes,
my brain needed jogging on that one.
You just caught up. Two-spirited is the preferred First Nations term for gay couples. It's an interesting piece, actually, that within most First Nations traditions, gay is sacred. It is literally holiness.
Wow.
So yeah, it's so but like I say, it's just very fascinating because it's interesting to think that somewhere a committee had to sit down and figure out because there are about 5 different versions of what LGBTQ2 plus means. That I just know that in the background there's some committee whose literal job was to figure out what every one of those letters was going to officially mean in government correspondence.
I encompass so many of them. I just go with queer because it's too much. I just need like, can we just have like a piece of paper and just put Chantel is here somewhere in the middle of it? And that's me. That's me. Like just there we go.
So yes, it's like I say, it's interesting from the cultural anthropology view. Because when I started out, the idea of gay was laughable. It was literally the joke. And now to be 40 years further down the road, when suddenly that's functionally all the cool kids, honestly, is what I'm discovering. Like honestly, most of the fascinating people I know and hang out with are either out or they're so far in the closet they're looking for Narnia. It's one of the two. That it's just really, really fascinating. I like it. I think it fits in there with a whole bunch of other things that I've seen change for a whole lot the better in the span. And I'm getting to meet some really cool people entirely by virtue of getting to pay attention to that word queer.
Yeah.
In a way that they would have hidden from me. And like, I think it's great that there's an actual culture that we can kind of point at and say, this is a place of interesting people. That's been my experience. Now, admittedly, a lot of it's social media spaces.
Yeah. What are the straights doing?
I don't know, honestly.
Not
holding up their end.
Oh,
just kidding.
Okay.
I
feel
like
I
I do
bad.
what I can, but it's.
Can you just tell
so
a few
many
more
of them.
jokes? Can you just stand? Just you're really tall, as I've been told. Maybe you should stand at the other end to like help.
Stop standing in the back of the photo and stand in front of a couple of people.
Yeah.
Don't worry about that.
Just be like, that's fine.
Yeah, but every time I do that, they tell me I'm intruding on their space.
Yes, that's what I'm trying to do. Yes, thank you. I'm glad you noticed.
Just to be clear, it is possible to be cool without being queer. You do not.
I've just yet to see it happen.
It's difficult, but it is possible.
I don't think Sam's sold on that.
I'm just.
We're working on it.
Resembling
that.
We're
working on it. We're trying. I say we. I'm not part of that community, so I can't do a damn thing to help you. You're just gonna have to help yourselves. I'm sorry.
Oh gosh.
One day you'll be cool. Just keep.
And by the way, I'm not sure if I wandered off into uncomfortable territory that early in the morning or late in the evening for everybody. But in case I did, I'm still working on my coffee.
It is 13 minutes in.
Okay, so just yeah. That's probably a hint that next time I finish my coffee, then we turn the camera on, not the other way around.
You're good.
Fine.
I think these conversations are good. I like being able to have these talks.
I'm sure everybody knows that we are only joking.
I'm totally joking about one day straights being cool.
Hang on.
What? I'm struggling, like you reach a point where you kind of go,
I don't blame you.
Not all straights, right, Sam?
Hashtag not all. No.
Hashtag not all heads. Hashtag I'm a cool head.
Hashtag enough of them.
More wine.
More hot pies.
How have your weeks been? I mean, it's only been 1 week, but there are many of you, and you all had a different week. So how was it?
Yeah, and some of us managed to squeeze 2 into 1 based on how things went. So, you know.
Yes, yeah. You described my experience.
I've done all the talking so far. Somebody else answer the question.
How's your week been, Sam?
Pretty good. Was house sitting and looking after dogs who were post surgery. So, but they have like 2 weeks ago, the conversation was, this is not minor surgery, and your dog's 11 years old. And yesterday, the conversation was, wow, your dog bounced back really well for an 11-year-old dog. She's doing great.
Yes.
Happy right there.
The other one became very sad when we took her away again because she had to get her stitches out. And so I was supposed to be going on a trip, and I was like, I can leave a little later. I'll just wait for my brother to get back. So we're not just all suddenly leaving this dog.
No.
But then
something we noticed recently is that both my husband and I we'll be talking, and the dog will be there, and we'll both be patting the dog, and then simultaneously we'll both turn and walk off, and the dog's just sitting there like, I had 2 pats and now I have no pats.
Who thought this was a good plan?
This isn't nice for me. I'm a dog. Can someone keep patting me? And I say it every time, but I do just keep walking away. Jamie, how are you?
I am exhausted. It's good exhaustion, but it's real exhaustion. Yeah, I started a new job about a month ago, and we hit we have staggered project deadlines, etc. I don't know how best to describe it because there's some privacy stuff I can't really talk about. Yeah. But that's working for the government. But yeah, it went from full-time training for a week and a bit to 20 hours a week, pretty chill for 2 weeks, to 38 hours a week this week, and my head just kind of exploded a bit.
Yeah.
Because I was also wrapping up with streamed Shakespeare, doing King Henry IV, which you should check out if you're watching this. It was rad, and I think the VOD will be available next week sometime, and it'll probably only cost $2.
That is cheap entertainment at twice the price.
Mm-hmm.
I guess $5 if you're like us, Canadian or Australian, and if not, then it's $2. Actually, $3.50 now because the Australian dollar is really strong right now, but that's another question. Yeah, so there was a lot, and then today I did 10 hours of shopping.
Why? Why? Tell me. Just I hate shopping. Why?
Oh God, yes.
Yeah. I'm not a huge shopping person.
Yeah.
But you might have remembered the bit where I said I got a new job a month ago.
I see.
So I have lots of money all of a sudden.
Money is nice.
And
yes.
I needed to replace a lot of things that were in very poor repair.
That's fine.
Yes.
Like jackets and shoes.
Yeah.
And I bought a new bed, and
that was in very poor repair.
Mm-hmm.
My old bed was.
I have nothing safe to say.
Wait, was this the spare mattress that you had, or the other mattress?
It was just the wrong size, as much as I now have a queen bed to fit my personality.
I also have one and never considered that it needed to fit my personality.
You would need a court jester sized bed.
Oi. You.
Is that why I have a king single?
I'm just gonna say,
Hey, Sam, with the self-owned, they're rare.
an instant Chantal instant on with the Aussie accent. Oi!
Nah, mate, nah. I can mute you.
You having a laugh?
You're having a laugh. I can mute you.
Not nearly enough swearing for that accent, but anyway.
I mean, that was technically a Brit. Cockney Brit.
Not nearly enough swearing for that.
Fuck off. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
Brits as far
Yeah,
my
so
experience.
I didn't sleep much, and I did buy things, but it's good, but I'm tired.
Agreed. Understood.
Luckily, nothing could possibly go wrong on Unlawful Disordered tonight, could it?
For sufficiently wide definitions of not and wrong. Yep.
There's a lot of silence there.
There's a reason for that.
Yeah, but I've watched the show, so...
I'm close to the end of my notebook. That means that a lot has to happen that I can't write about until my notebook arrives.
Well, I'm just going to say the new notebook hasn't arrived yet, huh?
The new notebook is due to arrive probably Monday because it's Saturday.
Oh,
I
all right.
booked a
Well,
day
we can
too
wrap
late,
up the show after we do the talk show session.
Probably best, you know?
Yeah.
All right, so the show's going to run along then.
Basically. Michelle, how are you?
Oh, I hate loaded questions. I really do.
Okay.
Hang on.
How about I unload it? How are you?
Again, I'm trying to do that thing where, you know, my GP tells me do not answer the question like a Canadian. Because Canadians, if you ask them, how are you? That you get one of two answers. One is a dead blank stare in terror, and the other, I'm fine.
Oh, that's the Australian way as well.
Yeah, I suspect it has. I suspect it's more of a Commonwealth thing.
It is.
But
there's a reason I, as a psychologist, ask twice. The first one is to get that answer out the way. Then the second one is, but actually, though, how are you?
yes.
There's a reason
my GP has encouraged me to actually think about the question before answering, as opposed to glossing it perpetually. Mm-hmm. Which has, started resulting in me having to warn people, did you really mean to ask that question?
Could we have the safe for stream version?
The safe for stream answer, I'm fine.
Oh no. Oh no, that's the safe for stream one. Oh no.
Excuse me while I lapse into Canadian politics very briefly.
Oh dear.
We were 4 days away from having the maritime provinces, encompassing a population of about 2 million people, enter into what we refer to as the bubble, which is that all provinces would have their own borders open to each other with free travel, and everything would be fine because we would have functionally stamped out COVID locally. The rest of the country's hosed, but down here we're all just fine, thank you. And then two idiots from central Canada drove down. One of them went to literally, you stop at the border for going from Quebec to New Brunswick. You have to sign a bunch of paperwork promising that you're going to go straight to your your 2 week what's the medical term? Quarantine. Your 2 week quarantine location and not move. You literally have to sign legal paperwork promising you're going to do that. You do that again when you get to the PEI border, and they went from the PEI border to the Walmart in downtown Charlottetown. Turns out the two adults in the vehicle were COVID carriers, CV19 positive, the Brazilian variant to go with it. So now we've got 19 cases on the island. And then some other idiot from central Canada drove down and went to a barbecue with 20-odd guests without quarantining. So now the province of Nova Scotia has entered a 2-week lockdown, and there are 99 people in the hospital. So bluntly, I've had a week where I was this close to being able to hang out with my folks for the first time in a year. I'm 50. By definition, they're older than I am. Yeah, I felt like throwing things at the wall at one point. But, other than that, I'm fine. I got friends and like, it's just maddening that close. And two idiots screwed it up for everyone else. Population of 2 million people, basically the entire region's being dropped into full lockdown, trying to avoid killing people, for lack of a better way of putting it. The good news is I saw that there's at least one judge in British Columbia is now basically said out loud on a news program that they're of the opinion that if you wind up hosting what amounts to be a spreader event, you should be held, and somebody dies as a result of it, you should be arraigned on manslaughter charges.
Yeah.
When a judge, now they've gotten a lot of flack for that because in Canada judges shouldn't be opining what sounds like a political opinion, but their defense is that's not a political opinion, that's a legal opinion.
That is illegal. If you do that.
Yeah. At this point a year down the road, everyone should know that COVID kills people.
Yes.
If you intentionally do something which spreads the disease, you're trying to kill people. That's manslaughter. So yeah, that's been my week. The rest of it's actually pretty good, but that's just overshadowed everything.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't have a concept of a week, so today was nice. I've had 3.5 hours sleep. I'm having a great time. I get an extra hour and 15 minutes sleep. Which is the reason I showed up late for the show. Everything's just been out of order.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm glad that this is the time that it is, because it's at the time that it is. Yep. Nothing comes before it or after it. Like, it just is now.
Yeah. It is the now.
It is the now, and I appreciate that.
All right. So we've been talk showing for 45 minutes at this point.
We haven't.
Well, not really, because we started like 10 minutes late.
26 minutes. I took us live 26 minutes.
There we go. Oh, yes, you had the fancy little ticky thing.
I do. I randomly just took us live, and so...
Yeah. So, Chantel, tell us about yourself, the week you had, and where we can find you elsewhere on Twitter, and four cool projects you're working on currently.
Four cool projects. Four. Okay.
Well, I have to restrict you because I think the number is closer to 11, but that would take the rest of the show.
And that's just the cool ones.
I'm queer.
That's true. By default, that's cool.
By default, yeah. Okay, find me at Chantel B, which is there. That's where I put it. That's my name.
Yes, there. Yeah, you got it right.
Yes. Yeah. I had a week, and 4 things. 1, I'm a writer on Omen's Rising. 2, I start a game of Monster Hearts as a player, playing a Fae character, on Monday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time over at Gehenna Gaming.
I'm so looking forward to watching that. You and Nadine are going to be hysterical.
No. Actually, Nadine's not playing in that game.
Oh, okay. She's just promoting it?
This is number 3, which is I ran my first game.
Oh, yes,
of Monster Hearts. This week just gone. I don't know what day it was anymore, because I don't know how weeks go. But it is over. If you go to any_actor, it will actually be up on the Lost Worlds Archive YouTube channel, because I asked if I could have the recording. So we're going to have that, and that the VOD will be up, and you will be able to see me randomly talking until I figured out what GMing means.
Well, it's largely doing just that, randomly talking until your players tell you what you meant.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was randomly talking until I realized, hang on, stop talking. Just stop. Just shh. And then I did eventually. It was great. And 4, maybe I don't have 4, 4, I have a dog called Puck, and he's prettier than me. Yeah, Sam agrees. Sam knows.
It's just like, that's like, most dog owners is just like, yeah.
He's really pretty. Check out my Twitter. I posted a picture of him being majestic, and he's just pretty, There's nothing I can do about it.
Also known as a picture of Puck.
Yes.
Yeah, the thing is Puck may be awesome, but your eyeshadow game is totally on point. He hasn't figured that out yet.
He has not.
You've still got that one on him.
I have that one. Until he's figured out eyeliner, I am winning. Just for a second, I thought he was behind me.
Just got a paw going.
Judging, yeah, I'm judging you.
I'm gonna get this. First come the opposable thumbs, then comes the eyeliner.
Anyone else doing anything? What's happening? Do people have housekeeping?
Things?
I'm so happily not doing anything anymore, except this. And
yeah, I was just gonna say, yeah, Jamie, tell us a bit about you and where we can find you.
Yeah, I'm Jamie. I'm a voice actor and director. I mean, I do those things, but I do them on my website, jamie-collette.com. But I'm not doing any other like projects right now.
Projects.
Like, I'm working.
You're not projecting projects?
Quite. I am doing things, but I'm not doing things.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm working a lot, but I'm not doing anything new and exciting except this, which is
very nice.
It's a new season.
It is. We are in a new chapter.
Yes,
chapter the third.
Chapter the third.
Yep.
Sam, do you have any shout-outs?
Oh, yes.
Oh.
Yes. I mean, myself on Twitter, at @_RealSnaP. It's on the thing. It's like here. I still have a thing where it's like there's a few things which are like are nebulously in production or something, but they're more sort of like, want to do a thing? I was like, yes. And they're like, all right, we'll organize that. And we're like, okay. And then so they're not at any point of should be talking about. So
that's unfortunate.
Michelle.
Oh wow. So yes, Michel Vaillancourt. You can catch up with me. I think no, is that it the right way? I can never tell. We'll find out in a moment. Yeah, it is. I got it right. Yay. So yeah, you can catch up with me on Twitter. You can catch up with me 902PE Gaming. Where both places I tend to talk an awful lot about gaming. So yeah. Also working on my next novel, which is going to be a trio of novellas, single bind. So that's cool. It feels good to be writing again. I'd sort of lost the ability to do that meaningfully. So yeah, good to be working back on my next novel. And gosh, what else is going on? And oh yeah, for those folks who are into permaculture, aquaculture, that kind of stuff, my YouTube channel should be lighting up again because it's spring. So yeah, that should start being a thing right again soon.
Great.
Yeah.
Let's.
Oh, I also GM this lot here on the GM Storyteller, or so they tell me.
Oh, we've got a game.
We've got a game. I'm gonna roll the intro, which I changed. Let's see if the.
Oh, cool! I'm looking forward to seeing it. Yeah, do it.
Let's watch.
Let's go.
Yes.
And we're back.
I actually hadn't watched the pre-send because I wanted to watch it live on stream and do the E. That is so cool. Fantastic. Great job, Chantel.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much.
All right. Yeah, no, that is sorry, I'm just being staggered by the whole chapter 3 thing. By the way, minor nitpick. You forgot to change the title on the stream. We're still Chapter 2, episode 11. Yeah, it won't let me change it.
I'm reading Chapter 3, Episode 1.
Okay, that it didn't on my side. It didn't take the change, so I didn't know if it had stuck or not. Okay.
Oh, okay. No,
weird.
Good. Yes. All right. So it did take. It just didn't stick on. It just didn't update my side, and I'm totally okay with that. Yay. All right. So. Yeah. 3 adventures sitting in a tree. I literally made a rhyme about that.
I nearly continued that with the only rhyme I know, and I didn't want to, and so I stopped.
Yes, it was intentionally done that way. It was intentionally done that way.
I stopped. I was like,
let's just
say
attention? Chapter 3 has some changes.
Chapter 3.
Oh, there's been some stuff happening, but okay.
Right then. So, I think we'll do this in order of no particular. So, Alexandre.
Yes.
Here you are.
Yes.
The shining seaside city of Dusseldorf. Thoughts?
I like it. I don't know if I like it because it is above ground, or if I like it because it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
I like it in this tree. It's nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I noticed that was literally the first thing you did was climb a tree?
Yes, I needed to be in a tree and I needed to see the sunrise.
Right.
And a long way with light. Because these are nice, they are, I like them, but I don't like them, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So they can just sit here for now, you know?
Fair enough. Any thoughts about where you are and where you're going?
We're getting very close now, I think. Or at least we're a lot closer than we were. And I don't know how I feel about how close we are, and I still don't know what I'm doing.
Okay.
It wasn't a problem before, and now it's starting to be a problem. Because I don't know if I'm supposed to be preparing something, you know, like if it's a potluck, should I bring a plate or something? I don't know.
Fair enough. These are important things to worry about.
Tell us about
hi, God.
potlucks.
Just a question. Should I bring a plate?
Is it BYO? Like, what's
Who
the
is
deal?
in this room with me? Get out! Get out!
I mean, we're in a tree.
But I'm trying to. This is a diary tree.
Oh.
Thank you.
Oh. All right. Spider.
Hello, mate.
It's a long way from Shining Dung Heap, isn't it?
Capital.
Weren't we just discussing being out
Yes,
of the
we
diary
were,
tree?
but everyone is combined, so now I'm here, you know?
Sure. Yes, we are not in Shining Capital anymore, Toto.
So what's it feel like being about 400 kilometers away from Cliff Spider? The legendary place that is.
Invigorating, also very frustrating, because I have an idiot brother to find.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm hoping that the fine people of the free city of Cliff Spider have some open minds about helping people that may or may not have had bounties on their heads at some point in time, past, present, or future.
Details, eh?
Exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah, but it's good to get some fresh air again. I'm starting to feel like the juices are flowing.
Mm-hmm.
Can you put them back?
Get out.
So, any big plans for taking over the Free City?
I mean, they've already named it Cliff Spider.
No. I'm talking about Dasseldorf. Cliff Spider's not a free city. Dasseldorf is the free city.
That's right. Dasseldorf interests me less than Cliff Spider, to be perfectly honest.
Fair enough. Just blowing through, hey?
It's a gateway. I feel like the people up on the plains are much more likely to know the lay of the land.
Makes sense. Mysel. So here you are in a tree. When was the last time you were in a tree, Mysel?
Oh, I don't remember. I didn't climb a lot. Trees. It's sort of, it's nice, and I can feel the sun, but I mean, sunrises are not really my thing, I guess.
Oddly enough.
Yeah.
And I suppose Heyo's kind of hard on trees, isn't he?
You have to find the right one. He's good at climbing, but that's mostly from experience of living underground. You have to go through, you can't always fly. Not enough space. It's nice.
Roof can be very, very low. Walls can be very, very close together. Yeah.
It is nice traveling with people again. Helping out. We haven't done that as much. I haven't been able to. But it's good. It's nice being with nice people.
Are you with nice people, you think?
I think so. Yeah. I don't know if they know, but
I'm not convinced either.
Sometimes you just have to learn through experience, or just find out for yourself. It's okay. I'm sure they'll work it out.
Okay. Any idea where you're going?
No.
Okay. Any idea where you are?
In Dusseldorf. I don't remember when I was last here either. Okay. I'm sure I'll remember if it's important.
Yeah, probably. Makes sense. All right. So, yes, the sun's coming up. Dasseldorf is at the end of about 100-kilometer long inlet that slices basically in from the coast straight up to the foot of the foothills. If you will, it is the point at which the sea can no longer intrude into the land. The soft stuff has been cut away, and all that remains is the bulk, the bones of the earth that represents the mountains, right? There is a huge river that runs out of the mountains. And keep in mind, when I say mountains, I'm talking Andes, right? Geologically relatively young. Valleys are all, over 16,000 feet. And so, well, they're not all over 16,000 feet, but there's an awful lot of places that the mountain pass, that the easiest way through a place is going to be at 16,000 feet. Or, about 4 kilometers for those of you who don't know the significance. 12,000 feet or about 3 kilometers is where most people pass out due to lack of oxygen. They're called the Guardian Barriers for a reason. So, yeah. Okay. The locals call them the Guardian Barriers. There's a much more official sounding term that the that the Confederacy uses, but the locals, it's the Guardian Barrier Mountains. And yeah, it features, amongst other things, a 800-ish meter waterfall, which is just over there. Think it's kind of the same. Is everyone familiar with Victoria Falls? The where basically the river has unequally eroded this V-shaped channel, so it's pouring in from both sides. The local name for its place of roaring thunder, I think, or it's some translation like that. And that's basically what you're looking at. It's 800 meter, roughly slightly undercut, so it's not vertical. It's actually beyond the vertical cliff faces, with 800 meters wide. 800 meters tall, 800 meter long crevice with water pouring in on both sides. And even at a few kilometers away, there's always this dull crescendo roaring away constantly from where you're at. It is a perpetual rumble that sits in the background like an idling truck engine, is the best. The sound of a diesel engine just down the corner kind of thing. And it's just always there. And if you're not used to it, it's like, it's very obvious. You get the locals, it's just that noise, right? It's always there. So as the sun's coming up, the falls are about, like I say, about 3 kilometers away, because if you're any closer than that, you're perpetually getting rained on by the drift of the drift in the mist. So the town is just sort of far enough away that's not a thing. But the sun's coming up and glowing past you, and it basically is going to transform that mist cloud into a jewelry store, is the best way of explaining it. Every one of those little beads of water drifting in the early morning breeze is suddenly going to be its own, Swarovski crystal glittering in the morning sunlight. I don't think there's rainbows, and then there's whatever that is.
Alexandria appreciates.
So
that's all she's doing for the time being.
It's a beautiful sight, and I wanted to let you speak, but you also said that I spotted someone who was watching us.
Mm-hmm. Oh, they were leaving, actually, so it doesn't matter.
Oh, yeah, no, definitely.
Doesn't matter. Leave you.
See, Michelle and I have very different views on
doesn't matter.
So I think Spider's sitting in the middle of the three of them and leans over to Alexandria and says, "Keep an eye on the kid." And then leans over to Mysol and says, "Keep an eye on the kid." And then...
Do we both hear that?
No, I say it very quietly.
Okay.
I just think it's hysterical that you don't, so no, you don't.
Okay. Why?
And then Spider just slips out of the tree and very casually joins in the group of people moving in various directions and following that person who was watching us.
Mm-hmm. So you're going to set off by yourself, huh?
That's the plan.
Excellent. I like that plan.
I don't.
That plan's great.
I don't. The way he's responding, maybe reconsider. Maybe a reconsideration.
No. He already said what it was he was doing. So yeah. Hang on a second here. Just trying to find something. So I'm going to say that you have a remarkably high I'm looking and seeing things a perception. But
I have like a
specifically, you
fairly
literally have an ability where you just notice stuff about people. And
yeah,
so
that's the thing, right? Like I'm good at spotting specific things about people. I'm not necessarily like insane at perception though.
yeah, but I think as a result, um, you're going to definitely you're going to be left with with this idea. You've seen this person before.
Hmm.
There's something about their gait which is incredibly familiar to you. You're having a devil of a time pinning it. Like, it's just, that irritating... I should know that. So, yeah. How much following do you plan on doing?
They're heading towards the city?
You guys are all in the city. Keep in mind, you
Oh,
essentially...
I thought we were sort of on the outskirts of it still.
Well, yeah, okay. So, do you remember, sorry, Michelle is having problems thinking coherently this morning. Glitter Delta Cove, how the Ebonells basically had hid their elevator in the industrial district, in amongst the tanneries and all the other places that either stank or were loud, and so, loud noises and people coming and going wouldn't be terribly strange at 2 o'clock in the morning. They've done the exact same thing here in Dusseldorf. So you folks, I mean, you're basically in the middle of the tanners, the blacksmiths, the butchers, all of those kind of industrial locations that either make a lot of noise, make a lot of smell, or can be visually unpleasant, depending on what stage of the product is, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't think you're going to really so you're in town insofar as the city, by the way, is walled. It's 3 concentric walls. They're obviously heading towards the center of the city is the best way of explaining it.
And are they going mostly by main thoroughfares?
Yeah, absolutely. They're leaning heavily on a walking stick as they're making their way. And obviously, doing what they can to move as quickly as they can. You're pretty convinced that the walking stick is artifice. But, yeah.
I don't know anyone who would do such a thing, Spider says, using their walking stick as artifice. Yeah, I know. I'm just gonna keep following them. If they move into less main thoroughfare territory, I might change my mind. But for now, I'm just following at a safe distance.
All right, sure thing.
And trying to blend in.
Yep. So you'll be making, like I say, for someone using a walking stick, they're moving fairly quickly. There's a couple places where they just arbitrarily lean very, very heavily at a street corner as they walk, as a wagon train passes by. The locals, by the way, seem to are using some sort of feathered lizard is the best description for what you're looking at as a beast of burden. And one of these things apparently has got sufficient, well, I can't really say horsepower, call it lizard power, to pull a pair of regular cargo wagons behind them. So you'll see the lizard go by, followed by 2 wagons. So when I say wagon train, I literally mean, train. And the lizard seems to be about as bright as an extinguished light bulb. Which is to say it requires someone basically leading it literally along by a nose ring on a chain to prevent it from walking into solid objects. But it seems really good at pulling.
Cool.
Oxen would be PhDs by comparison. this thing, yeah.
Yeah.
But it pulls good. You'll also notice that all of the locals stay well away from the thing because it pulls good and isn't very bright, and so walks-on person apparently it doesn't understand stop for passerby. Yeah, those are issues with these things. So yon lad, and this is, I think, the part that is going to twig Spider, is the first time one of those things go by, he was about to trip out and walk out in front of it, until some strapping, handsome young fellow said, "No, don't do that, old guy. You'll hurt yourself. It'll walk right on top of you." Oh, well, thank you. And then he's far more cautious about it, but yeah, the broad implication is that they didn't know that either up until just now.
Mm. Yeah, I think, like, as Spider has been tailing this guy, Spider has also been surreptitiously applying a disguise of some description.
I'm just going to say, you see Spider walk behind a group of people, comes out the other side of the map with a mustache.
That's
walks
exactly
behind another group of people suddenly wearing a top
this is
hat.
Spider with a mustache and slick-backed hair. It's not like an elegant disguise, but
yeah,
it would take a second glance, right?
Yeah.
It's just like pulls out a compact. Someone walks by, complete change.
Entirely different person. Now it's an ebon elf.
That would be a fantastic magic item, wouldn't it? Just compact
We have one of those
compact
somewhere,
disguises.
an earring that.
Yes, it makes you look very specifically like one person.
Alexandra could just put that in a tree. Mice will have been none the wiser.
Yep.
I mean, yeah, she would look exactly the same to Maisel, I imagine.
Yep.
Long arms.
How far are you going to tail this fella?
I think now that we're
5 minutes, 10 minutes. Keep in mind, it takes you that long to get back.
I don't have enough of a sense of scale of the city to know the difference between 5 and 10 minutes in this.
All right, so at a walking pace, let's just you know how far you can move in a shopping mall in about 5 minutes. You're most people at a leisurely stroll, you're going to get a kilometer down every 20 minutes. If you allow for busy people, the equivalent of traffic lights, that sort of thing. It's probably more like every 30 minutes. So, you can just, for rough terms, right? I mean, obviously you can run faster than that, but just strolling without looking like you're chasing somebody, in a city, call it about a kilometer every 30 minutes. So 15 minutes is going to be a half a kilometer away from your friends. And
I think
it's probably about a half a kilometer gap between each of the concentric walls.
Yeah, so I think somewhere, probably somewhere after the first set of concentric walls, Spider is going to try and find an appropriate place to stumble into this person and accidentally knock them all sprawling, or the both of them sprawling into a nearby alleyway.
This is sounding more and more contrived by the moment.
Look at that! Oh!
Well, this is that's the question. Like, how I don't know how central these main thoroughfares are, I guess is the question.
Something I just one of the great things about Open Legend and where we're sort of doing theater of the mind right now is yes, you can do that. I'm just going to require you to make it. I'm just going to make you.
I'm into.
I'm just going to require you to make a particularly fanciful roll to actually have all that work.
Amazing.
So I'm going to ask you, I think, to make a logic roll, basically to figure out the lay of the land quick enough that you can enact your cunning plan, and then probably a deception roll to not have everyone yell, "Oh, look, it's a mugging."
I mean, yeah, I'm definitely not going for like the mugging so much as the like I overtook him, then went at cross purposes.
Yes, exactly. Like I say, so I need hence deception, versus maybe might or something. No, this is absolutely.
Where are we at currently with legend points? It's been a while.
None.
We don't have any. We
Really?
are
You
currently.
That's what I wanted to hear.
I think at last count, Marla might have had one.
Chevalier had one.
Chevalier may have had one.
Chevalier had one. Marla had one.
That sounds about right. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
I was just gonna say, according to the screen, the answer is no.
The answer is 0. You're very welcome to. No, you know what? You kind of already have. Just going off by yourself, sure. Like that is flawsome. That's pretty flawsome.
Yeah, that's a good quest. That's a good point.
It occurs to me now
my
that maybe should have like put like a buff on him.
I do have the proud flaw.
Nah, I thought about that and just went, nah, it's too quick. He didn't say anything, so he gets nothing. He didn't say anything, so he gets nothing. That's kind of how it works.
Well,
That
this
is
is
how
it.
we do it.
I am playing into my proud flaw. Some call it an inflated ego, and others call it conceit. But I know that I really just am that good.
Alexandra calls it stupid.
The real question is, does the GM buy it?
Yeah, for sure. I'm okay with that.
All right, let's go. I'm going to use that legend point immediately and use my cool dice within a dice.
Oh, spiffy!
To roll 2d6 at the same time.
Disception.
Disception. If you roll 2 1s, I'm sad.
they were both 5s, which gives me an exactly 20 on this logic roll.
All right. Yeah, absolutely for sure. There's grid patterns, and then there's this rat's mess. But that having been said, Tyler has spent a lot of time hanging out in rat's messes before, because in many ways, that's kind of the story of Shining Capital. There's the highly organized, neat, highly efficient grid, and then there's the docks.
Yeah.
What?
I ain't ever seen the docks too organized.
Yeah, docks and organization, the best you can ever say about a docks district is it's organized chaos. And so, there's almost invariably going to be the right about, oh, look at that, they build them the same way here as there. Okay, awesome. Yep. Alleyway. So, let's see that deception roll where you manage to not have everyone start screaming about a mugging in broad morning light.
Well, at least we know where to run.
He's literally, by definition at this point, 15 minutes away. You'll never hear it.
But we might hear something.
Yes, you'll hear his execution.
By the time we get there.
Plus 2 plus 6 is 19, and I get an explosion on one of the d6.
Wow.
Deception is my good one of my good ones. 23.
Well, yes. 23. Oh yeah, absolutely flawless. I don't think it's almost that Assassin's Creed. Walk past, crowd going by alleyway. Two people less in the crowd as they get as the scene clears. Meanwhile, in the alley.
It's definitely like an intentional. We both go sprawling into the alley, and during this fake sprawl. Step 1, I want to see if this... You said he looks like an older gentleman, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Is he wearing an earring?
Yes, he absolutely is.
What's the
couple of very nice, dangly, very fashionable, haute couture earrings.
What's the carp situation like?
Yeah, what are calves like? Tell me about these calves. I need to know.
Reasons.
It's a he. Men's calves are never described.
Are they real calves or are they implants?
I mean,
that's a really long shot, but a long bow. Yeah, if you haven't got that one, it's a good one, but it's not. Cool. Well, I mean. I didn't play a thief for nothing. I'm going to very graciously help this man up and apologize profusely as I do, and I'm going to try and steal his earrings as I do so.
Excellent. There's going to be. I think the funniest thing about this
off.
is. Yeah, I'm
Look
just
him
going
on
to
the
say, well, and
shoulders.
they're going to be doing the exact same thing to you.
Yeah.
You're not wearing any earrings, are you?
Not at this stage. I am wearing a fake moustache, which might be like half flapping off at the time.
All right. So your deception was a 23. Hang on a second.
It was.
I'm going to. So the crowd is absolutely not going to react. You have completely bamboozled them. I'm going to roll his perception to see if he goes, wait a minute, in the middle of this. So just let me check
do I
something.
need to like roll an agility or anything for the?
No, just one sec. I want to see. Basically, I want to find out. You know, if they realize that this isn't an accident, that's going to change your difficulty for ear picking him.
That makes sense.
Ear picking? That didn't sound right.
No,
well, it's not. It'd be. I don't want to call it. You know, it's not pickpocketing because
There's
it's not
another
his
word
pockets.
for it.
Ear pocketing.
Ear picking. Yeah, it's just ear picking, pick-earing. I just leave. Let's leave that alone then.
Shopping.
There's another word for it.
Shopping.
Very close. It's lifting, right?
Earlifting. Shoplifting. Earlifting. Lifting the earrings. Very nice.
Oh, and I'm having one of those days I can't read. That is a 9 and a 7, and so the answer is not enough for the caramel secret. So he rolls a 15, completely oblivious to the fact that this is any kind of a ruse or scam. Go ahead then, and yeah.
Yeah, it's all about misdirection, right? All right.
Exactly.
Do I have another D8 over here somewhere?
I'll need a little dice light again. I'll keep that in mind. Yep.
It's been a while since I rolled so many dice. That's not bad. Oh no, that's not.
Yeah, the last time you were rolling dice, someone died.
Why did you have to? Why?
I will put these dice away so quick, young man. I didn't great on the D20, an 8, but I got 2 7s, so that's 14 plus 8 is 22.
22. I'm pretty sure he's never going to notice that.
Does anything happen as I lift his earrings?
Okay. So, maybe? No.
Maybe.
Close. Rolled a 21. Open-ended on one of the dice.
Just scraped by.
So, for lack of a better way of putting it, he's going to notice in about 5 minutes.
Yeah. That's all right. I don't.
But who is he now?
The point is, he doesn't instantly transform as I take off.
No, which probably means you've grabbed the wrong earring, right?
Right. I mean, I was going for both, but that's okay.
No. I mean, that's a little too much. If you want both of them, you're going to need 2 rolls.
Do I get a sense of where this person from now that I've seen them right up close, I guess, is the question.
Yes, please. Make a learning roll, and I will straight up in advance tell you that your difficulty is going to be 15.
Okay. All right. This could be where it falls apart.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we've got a reroll. We're at 10.
All right.
We're at 10.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm rerolling
right.
a 6 here.
Fingers crossed.
No, that would be an 11.
Oof.
Who?
Yeah, no, you're absolutely convinced. You know, you've met this person before.
Right.
But for lack of a better way of putting it, they've done a really good job with their disguise.
Yeah.
You know, short of grabbing him by the ear and pulling to see who's underneath, no, the disguise has got you.
Yeah. There's a main thoroughfare right behind us. He hasn't quite recognized me yet. Brain work. I am not a master spy and thief.
Does not recognize you yet, or did?
Yeah, he hasn't recognized me at this point.
That you know.
Yeah, it hasn't suddenly done the it's you moment.
Yeah, exactly. He doesn't appear to recognize me in an obvious manner.
If you strike up a conversation, could you not use
Just
your
in 5
perk
minutes.
at some point?
And learn something about him.
Yeah. But I need to
5 minutes.
5 minutes. It's a long conversation.
Drop this earring. It's nice.
It's really
Yeah.
nice. Yeah.
Where'd you get it?
From? Alexandria would have so much. But you left her in a tree, you know.
No, I think that is the opening angle. It's like, oh, are these yours? They fell on the floor, and it's yeah, it's a lot of like hand gestures to keep his eyes away from my face, and a lot of misdirection, but not like immediately handing them back.
Right.
And just like
Trying to get the other. Oh, this is really nice. Yoink.
yeah, and I think I'm just.
Oh, you dropped the other one just now.
Oh,
I'm at this point. I'm like starting to see if I can case him in any way, because I've got this feeling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. They are all but going to quote Alice in Wonderland. Oh, excuse me. I'm. Thank you very much. I appreciate you. Please do move over. Okay? I've got a very important meeting. I have to be on my way. And they're going to attempt to exit stage left as quickly as they can.
Left or up.
How far? Talk to me about this street we're in.
All right, you're about. I'm going to say a couple of meters down an alleyway. The street out front is wide enough for a couple of these horse cart train or lizard cart trains to pass without, the lizards annoying each other and without having to grind all resulting foot traffic to a halt. It's early morning. Things are busy. You are just outside the industrial district, having crossed out of that by virtue of having gone for the 15 minutes it takes to go from one wall to the next, and so you're there are people. I'm not going to say there are people everywhere. It's early. The sun is just up, right? I mean, but the town is the city is waking up. This is a bustling port town. I'm not going to say you've seen one. You've seen them all. Let's be honest. You've only seen one. So, well, no, you've seen two at this point. No, three. You're up to three now. Going as of this morning, it's 4. So you're rapid. You've massively expanded your horizons. And yeah, they've all been different. So there's a lot going on. There's people making their way. There are these, like I say, these cart trains moving, making their way along at a very plodding pace, loaded heavy with goods. There's people, the morning shops are beginning to open up. The smell of sweet pastries is starting to get into the air as the first batches are coming out of the ovens. The alley you're in, yeah, you've seen one alley, you've seen them all? No, yet again, no. Every alley is unique with its own particularly odd personality to it, for lack of a better way of putting it. This one is a bit straightish, and it's obviously the place that everyone from the two buildings side to side uses as the place they're going to store all of their spare stuff until the two lizard train that wanders by to get all the garbage arrives.
Yeah.
It's the outdoor storage bin, if you will. And the rat's that rat over there is really pissed off about you two having disturbed its breakfast.
I hate doing things in games where I feel like I should apologize to the other players before I do them.
You see, as a GM, I deeply appreciate those moments.
Guys, I'm ready for you to do some stupid shit.
Yeah.
Do something stupid, go for it.
I think there's only one technique left in Spider's playbook here, and
pull a knife.
Well, I mean that would be that's the effect that I'm going for, but I'm going to be much more direct, and I want to make a a silencing bane attack on this guy as I just ram my cane into his throat so that he
Sure
can't
thing.
yell out first.
Yep. You realize that if you silence him, by definition, you can't question him, right?
Yeah, I'm not going for permanently breaking his trachea. I'm going for like making him cough for a bit so I can get my hand over his mouth and push him a little bit further down the alleyway to question him.
Sure. Yeah, okay. Go for it.
Okay, so this is Agi versus his toughness.
Yeah. His toughness ain't great. Target numbers are 13.
Okay. Well, my agility is pretty good. As Nadine would say, it's pretty good.
It's like they never left.
Cool.
You rolled a 12, right?
I rolled an 8. on a D20 and 2 D8s.
I could tell by the nervous giggling how this was going.
Yeah. You literally said I'm ready.
I very specifically said, do something stupid.
Right then. So so at this point, what is? Do me a favor. Roll me a D20, and add your agility base to it, because you just started a fight.
So this is like an initiative roll?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That is your surprise round that you just spent on missing.
Why
and
couldn't
now
I
it's a
just
fight.
roll this for the attack? This is a 21.
Okay, you're probably
Guys,
going
it's a sense of
first
timing.
because that's an 8, and then he gets 2d8. So I spent money on a very good little dice box here. Let's use that, shall we?
How long has Spider been away for now?
Yeah, because Alexandria's not wearing a watch, and neither am I right now, so...
That's a great mind you got. It's been about 15 minutes. I believe.
15 minutes, because what I had said was that from basically from the width of one ring, if you will, is about one district ring is about 15 minutes, and Spider said specifically that he was going to wait until they got out into the next district area, so he could basically bushwhack him at the first, sort of in the next alley that presented itself. So he's been gone for 15 minutes at this point. So that's an open end on the initiative
filled with
roll.
rainbows. I feel like you could be there for hours.
But not without me.
14 and 8 is a 22, and that's a 6.
I'm not going first then.
Oh yeah, cool. All right, great. I think the speed at which he reacts, you don't so much miss as he hooks the end of his walking stick in the way of your walking stick, and attempts to essentially. He's actually going to attempt to inflict a bane on you. Might versus toughness. And he's going to attempt to apply the stunned effect to you.
Yep, that's
So let's see, and it's a PL4 if he succeeds. So let's see here.
my toughness is 15.
15, all right. So it's a D20 and 2D8 he's rolling. Let's see what he gets.
That's a strong boy.
Yes. He didn't do his own makeup, let's put it that way. So that's a 16, and then
It's
7. Okay, 23. Yeah, so bang! PL4 stunned. The attack is called Skullcracker. And yeah, he just basically blocks the attack towards his throat and snaps it straight forward into your forehead, and you're seeing stars. I mean, just straight up brief comedic anime moment of cross-eyed Spider waving in the breeze as the old guy goes back to limping and leaves.
Well, so yeah, I'm just looking at stun here. During the target's turn, they're limited to either a single major action, a single move action, or a single minor action. Okay.
He's going to attempt to disengage with his movement, So he stuns you as his major action, and then he's going to take his movement while you're kind of swaying there.
Further into the alley?
No, he's leaving. He's heading back out to the street. He's not interested in a knife fight in an alley.
No, that's very reasonable.
It's pretty reasonable. Don't have to be evil to like have that view.
You know. So yeah, so you're cross-eyed seeing stars, and he shuffles out into the street and starts, and he gets his full movement, so you're only about 2 meters into the street, down the alleyway, 2-3 meters down the alleyway. That gets him, even at 3 meters, he gets, 6 movement. He gets 6 squares of movement. Yeah, he's easily into the street and down a ways by the time your eyes uncross.
Chantal, how stupid?
How stupid can you be?
Spider stumbles out into the street.
I'm so ready.
Points in the man's direction.
Oh, real stupid.
That's okay. I mean, I did.
You did.
I picked. Yep. Sweet. Yeah.
I'm still holding his head with the other hand. A small trickle of blood. And he yells, "Stop that man! He assaulted me! He's stolen my goods!"
I need a deception roll, please.
Oh boy.
My cabbages!
I mean, this might be loud and obnoxious enough that friends entering the city might hear it from.
We're 15 minutes away.
Yeah,
if we even left the tree, both of us are neurodiverse.
If you're still in the tree, you're still in the tree.
You're 15 minutes away in the industrial district. You two may as well get out Sudoku puzzles.
Yeah, I'm pretty okay with that.
Another...
We're in a place that was specifically chosen because it was loud.
Yes. How else do you have? If they have to dig a 1.5 kilometer long vertical tunnel and then rig it full of machinery to run an elevator, you don't put that beside the presidential palace. Okay.
And not only that, but we were both told to look after each other.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we're just waiting because.
I heard a noise. I should run off. No, we should wait here.
No.
I heard a noise. We should run off. No, you should wait here.
No, he said we have to stay here. I'm supposed to look after you because you're a child.
Well, that's funny. That's what he told me.
That happens 20 minutes later.
It's a 22 in total.
A 22. I think... so there's going to be an awful lot of people looking around. There's going to be that certain element of I'm not getting involved. So the literal, the crowd is going to, the more early, it's not a wall-to-wall, it's not like you're standing in a subway station here. But at the same token, the few people between you and him that you might accidentally be pointing at, you're sort of, and it's very obvious who it is you're pointing at. And there's going to be this young fellow who, he hit you! Oh, grab him! And dive.
Good. This is exactly what I wanted.
Do
you know what? Have you seen Jackie Chan, Drunken Master?
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
You just suddenly realized why it is you know this guy. It's one of your father's bodyguards. You're sure of it, because that is, for lack of a better way of putting it, the trademark of the Verdant Guard is they've all got drunken-style kung fu as a method of defending your father in public places without making a scene. And so, unmistakably, this guy lunges, and you see the old guy, oh, be careful! And there's people going everywhere. The young guy goes straight up in the air, lands flat on his back. The old guy's leaning, are you okay? Here, have a cold coin, get yourself a coffee. And he immediately starts, double time hopping down the road.
And then...
But I'm not yet, just narratively, I'm not going to roll the attack, and you don't have to roll the perception. Yeah, you know exactly what that was that you just saw.
Yeah.
That was absolutely the Verdant bodyguard.
Yeah, there's this amazing moment of stunt work, and then camera cuts to Spider's face up close. Fuck. And he just turns around and just starts like blending back into the crowd and heading back out towards like trying to, as everyone's attention is drawn away from him towards the person who he accused, he just falls back into the crowd and blends his way back out of the city.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. I wonder what's been happening for the last 15 minutes.
It's real pretty.
It is. So it's hard to explain if you haven't seen. So, do you know what anything looks like?
I mean, like I can see through other people's eyes if I need to. So I have done that.
Okay. Do you know what diamonds look like?
Well, gems, yeah.
Yes. So it's like there are lots of tiny, tiny gems in the sky, just in the air. It's really pretty.
Oh.
And
nice.
Yeah. And have you seen a sunrise?
Yes.
Okay, so the sun is rising, and it's beautiful, but it's a little bit cooler. Like it's cooler light.
Okay, yeah. I think I can picture that.
Yeah.
That's a nice thing to welcome you back to the surface, I guess.
Yes, I like it. I like it a lot. Do you picture things when you think about them, or do you just see them? Like, do you just not see? How do you think?
With my head.
Well, I can imagine things like, yeah.
But what I mean is, like, when you think, do you think in words, or do you think in like pictures, or do you think in like
I've
colors or
considered it really.
Oh.
I guess pictures, but I would imagine it's not the same kind of pictures as, say, you might.
Oh.
Mainly because my perception is different, so it would be affected by that. Well, framed, I guess, by that.
Oh. Okay. Do you remember being older?
A bit. If sometimes when I really think about it, it's difficult sometimes. But we recall things. But I mean, there's a lot of time between now and then. So.
Did you have a husband or a wife or something like that? Did you have kids? You're 12.
No. We spent most of my time traveling, so I hadn't exactly settled down or anything. I guess it was something I always thought would come later. Then didn't, obviously.
Well, I mean, in most people I would say obviously, but you're 12 and you're working your way downward.
That's fair. A lot of our time is spent, well, trying to figure out what happened to us. I mean, it took a long time for us to even realize that we were, well, aging backwards.
How do you notice something like that?
It's difficult to explain. It's not like there's a sudden realization, but like I know how old I am. Like I realize when I shift from. I knew I had realized when I had shifted from 13 to 12. Not in that moment. It was sort of like, oh, this has been for a little bit of time. So
like
I don't. I don't know. Kind of like remembering it almost, but not.
So like you didn't like have a beard, and your beard just kind of grew into your face, and then you were like, okay, I'm not an adolescent anymore.
No, yeah, we just like at first we thought we were just sort of, I guess, frozen in one spot. Like we weren't getting older,
Right.
but we were just stuck in that place. And it wasn't until much later that we suddenly realized that that was not the case.
That's very strange.
I mean, the whole situation is, to be honest.
Yes. Yes. But the way it's happening is just weird, you know.
That's kind of magic. It's not. I don't think it's designed to make sense. It just sort of is.
It does to a lot of people. Like they have magic books. They have books that tell you what it is. It's supposed to be like science.
Well, you can work out like a formula that will allow you to do a thing, and it will usually do the thing. But the more complicated the formula gets, the more chance there is something goes wrong, and then you don't know what's going to happen. And you might not know it's wrong. Like the spell that was used on us, fairly certain it was designed pretty perfectly, the perfect formula to do what it was designed to do.
How do you know what it was designed to do?
I don't remember. The details, I don't remember a lot of the events leading up or afterwards, but there are certain things that kind of stand out. Like I know we were attacked, but I don't know which one of us was the target. I know one of us that the other got in the way. But again, other than knowing that it was the other person, I don't know which one it was. I don't know how long it took us to regain a physical form. I'm not clear on how long that. It could have been minutes, it could have been years. I don't know.
Do you know how long a minute is?
Yes.
And
I can tell time.
Oh, can you?
I just don't keep track of it very well.
You don't keep track of it. So it could have been a week or it could have been a year.
Well, we were kind of, as far as I'm aware, we kind of just vanished. And I think whoever was targeting us thought they were successful. But because we weren't erased, we were merged. And it was a while before, or it felt like a while, but it might not have been, for us to sort of regain a sense of individuality. And even then, only kinda.
How do you know that they were trying to erase you and not just merge you?
It's just like that's one of the things that you can remember. That was the goal.
Oh.
That it was to erase one of us.
Oh.
But then because it hit two of us, the formula wasn't designed for that. And so it didn't work the way that was expected.
Oh.
And that's where magic gets weird.
So do we need to find that spell and do it again
I don't know.
to undo it?
We've tried a lot of things, but I mean, everyone kind of approaches magic differently. So trying to reverse engineer a unique spell that you don't know who cast it, how they cast it, or what their experience of magic was, it's hard.
Get outside.
The rest of magic doesn't seem very hard.
It's
Maybe
really
it's
the details. The broad scope of it is you can kind of categorize, you can see commonality and all that sort of thing, but it's the specifics. You don't do what you do the same way I do it. Neither of us do it the same way she did it. And no three of us do it the same way Marla did it.
No.
Specifics. But in general, the effects were comparable sometimes. It's certainly interesting. I understand why people devote themselves to its study.
I don't understand why they study it and don't just try it and see.
Well, I mean, some do, but the problem with unexpected results is sometimes the results are bad.
Well, I
So
mean,
it's
sometimes
better
I try
to have
things and the results are bad anyway, so...
But you can try in a controlled situation, you can try and mitigate it to an extent, and then some people don't do that, and sometimes the effects aren't good, and so others stop you.
Do you think Spider's still alive?
I assume so. He's very capable. I could check if you want.
You can check.
Sure, yeah. Hang on, 1 second.
Ring, ring. Answer the phone, Spider.
Literally, I've been watching the timer on this conversation, and it's been about 16 minutes.
Yeah. What's your resolve, and is it over 20?
No.
All right. I'm using spying on Spider.
So I think just because I find it comedic, I think what you're going to see is you and Alexandri, or the tree at least you're in, from a modest distance away, because Spider's almost made his way back to you at this point.
Wait, what?
Oh, no, that'd be a half an hour. No, that'd be a half an hour. No, at this point, you're going to hear, you're just going to be queuing in at the moment of getting to watch some poor schlep going vertical into the air over some old guy with a walking stick. In what can only be described as a master class in epic clumsy.
I get a sense of everything happening within 60 feet of Spider, and just like, oh. Well, I don't think whatever he was trying to do went well.
Do you know where he is?
That way. About 15 minutes walk.
Okay. We should probably get out of the tree.
I think he got in a fight. But also, he didn't look too bad.
Okay.
But he wasn't happy with what he was watching. Though there was another guy who's very impressive.
We should find that guy. Well, let's go rescue Spider.
I don't think he's in danger now. But yeah, we should do that.
He might be by the time we get there.
He's not in danger, but we should go rescue him anyway, says Mysel.
I mean, a lot can happen in 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Exhibit A.
So, Jamie, which way is Spider heading? Back?
Back to the kids.
Okay, so 7 minutes later. Yeah, you do see each other heading in opposite directions.
You heard me.
The two older people of the party leave, and suddenly everyone else is kids.
I mean, you're both like
18 years old.
teenagers.
I'm 18 years old. 18. Almost 19. I'm sure. I don't know. I don't know the date at the moment. I'm sure I'm on my way to 19.
We've forgotten another birthday.
Oh no.
Hey, your birthday. The fact that you folks can't be bothered to look at the website is not my problem. Your birthdays are on the chart.
I do
have
look
it
at my
open.
birthday a lot. I just have no sense of time. And that is a Chantal problem. That bitch has no idea who gave her control of me.
That's not how it's supposed to work. No, that's just. Alexandra is the 4th of Minerd.
I am the force of Minerde.
I think it's Jasper's birthday before yours. 'Cause he is the 17th of
Emma?
Nalasa. Nalasa?
What is the date today? Whose birthday is it?
Let's double check my own website.
What, you don't even look at the calendar?
Yeah, actually, I was. I was actually looking at the map, which was the awkward part. Hang on a second here. View world. Yeah, it's the 17th of Yggdrasil.
The 17th of Yggdrasil.
So.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
3 months
the
away
celebration
from.
of Craftsfolk is coming up.
3 months away from Jasper's birthday.
Yeah. For those folks watching along on the live or on the VOD, if you check on your screen, there's a little QR code there, I think. And if you scan that, it will take you to the website for the game over on Open Legend. Sorry, we are Open Legend on World Anvil. My apologies. And amongst other things, there's the timeline for the game, including character birthdays and all that good stuff is there, as well as the world calendar and the maps and stuff we're all referring to. So if you're wondering what it is we're going on about, that's where you find it.
It's just because I just noticed in-game, it's been a fortnight, just a little bit more than a fortnight since the Fisher celebration.
Yes.
So that's good.
Neither Chantal nor Alexandre have a concept of time.
I was very amused when you left the two people who have just no concept of like time.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'll come back. Like, oh, you might die and we won't know.
It could be 2 days. It could be 2 days. We'll just be sitting in a tree. We don't know.
Well, you'll eventually get hungry, but
I think Spider was counting on it. I mean, that was the proud flaw bit.
We're carrying rations. What's up, Sam? What's going on?
Possum just.
No, that was just me.
The...
If you could.
No. The headphones are pretty good, but the surround sound does not include my ceiling.
It's either going to be me or Michelle.
A possum just ran across Chantal. I don't make the rules, apparently.
No, that's my job. Piss off.
I feel like Great Moustache might have something to say about that.
Great Moustache is not
it's a hierarchy.
He's not here, so I win.
I'm safe. I'm safe.
So how is Spider when we meet him? Still bleeding?
No, I think it was like, a surface wound. It wasn't enough to stun him.
Yeah, at the point that we quote no damage, it was just the shock as much as anything else.
I just because I like the visual, I think he's literally peeling off the fake moustache as he approaches the both of you. And he's just a little out of breath from walking very quickly, but not too quickly as to draw attention to himself.
Why are you pulling off a great moustache?
I mean, oof.
I regret nothing. Spider might.
The amount of vitriol that Sam and I received from Chantal off stream for using puns.
Yeah, but that's you, not her.
That's the thing.
Those are different rules.
with a little bit of time, I can find a video where you specifically say that you love puns. So
You don't need to find that video. You also don't need to find.
I think
Back to the game.
I think one of the unwritten rules of loving puns is that you have to pretend like you hate them.
Well,
I'm
because the
doing it
catch is
wrong.
that otherwise people avoid you socially, and then you have no one to tell your puns to.
Yeah,
my experience.
I mean, other people tell them though, Sam. You have to, like, because the person telling the pun deserves the payoff of everyone going.
Mhm.
Just
It has to
it's just
hurt.
hurt me, baby, hurt me. Yeah, I mean, what?
That's it.
If
Pun loving
it's
is a
punny,
masochistic art, really.
sadomasochistic, really.
You give and receive.
So by
Anyway.
definition, if you're a punster, you're a switch.
Hmm.
That flips the whole discussion, doesn't it?
Let's get that on a t-shirt.
My
I
puns are
can't-
yours.
Think of a case that disproves this. So let's.
I want to hear about it, but I also don't think it's safe to stream, so I can't ask about it. I'm just going to make a note for later. I want to know how you know. I have needs, and that's my need.
When you know, you know. So I pull off my great moustache.
Hmm. Does it say ow?
I don't know, but I feel like we need to clip that one specifically.
Oh,
for
that
him.
will be clipped. There's no way. That has to go into the break segment, surely.
Yeah.
Yeah, cutting room floor. Absolutely, yep.
Let's go on, Syrian.
And I say, well, we have a problem.
What do you mean we have a problem?
Is it the old guy?
Who's the old guy? Oh.
Yes, it's the old.
Seemed very impressive.
He ought to.
Why?
I was just following someone who seemed a little out of the ordinary, and I'm fairly certain that he's a member of my father's household personal bodyguard,
So?
which means my father or someone reporting directly to him is here,
So?
and this person saw us sitting in the tree.
So?
Have you forgotten the bit where there's a bounty on our heads?
Why would your father put out a bounty on your head?
You have a bounty on your head?
Apparently.
I live for these moments.
Well, I mean, Lucas and I did disappear in the middle of the night, and my father would always take the most brutally efficient route to solving a problem.
So we put a bounty on... Put a bounty on his own sons?
That is brutally efficient.
Yes,
I mean, there's
but
brutally efficient, then there's that shit.
I know, right?
Just not sure why he would put a bounty on your heads.
Oh, so
Not
you're saying
yours, my soul.
he put a bounty on... He's the one that put out that bounty. Not
I
there's a second.
don't know. I don't know. But if he didn't, it's clear he was looking for us. Given that one of his personal guard was here and
I mean,
spotted
What if he's
us.
on vacation?
Then I'm more worried about him personally than whoever he's reporting to, given that there's a bounty on our heads.
What if he's just trying to catch the bounty? But he didn't
That's
catch
what I
you, so-
meant. I mean, that's also a problem. strictly, we are
We
outside
saved you.
the bounds of the Confederacy.
Just so you know, we saved you.
What?
We saved you.
How?
We came to. Myself found you, and then we came to make sure you were safe, and so we saved you.
I found you.
No, if you found
I
us,
don't-
we'd be in the tree. You did not. We are here.
But I wasn't in any danger when we met.
You don't have to be in danger to be safe. I mean, you have a bounty on your head. You should be safe.
Mm.
You should be very careful. Someone is looking for you. One of your father's bodyguards. You should be very careful.
I love how quickly this turned into a Guy Ritchie movie. Right. All I'm saying is we have a problem.
Well, you have a problem. It sounds like I have less of a problem. If your father is looking for you, then I have less of a problem because it
know.
means that he's not looking for me.
As a reminder, by the way, Jamie, I posted the text of the actual wanted poster in chat.
Wanted for crimes against the Confederacy for immediate arrest, trial, and incarceration, Engweir Dixit, Ch3, Alexander Donadieu, and property, Jasper Kilcare. A lawful reward of 180 gold marks are offered.
Is that a good amount? I feel like I've asked this question before. Is it?
You're looking at the kind of money that would keep someone drinking and eating steak in a good inn for a month. That's the kind of money that will get bounty hunters to say that's well worth my effort.
Okay, cool. I mean, it doesn't. It could be better, but it's fine.
You know,
Must try harder.
It's
in
not
future.
out of the bounds of us fairly soon being able to, pay off, but not right at this moment.
Yeah, collectively, I mean, you're literally looking at the equivalent of a month of upper middle of upper middle class wages. That's
Okay.
what 100 gold pieces would be. Contextually.
That's
First off, most people pay in silvers. That's so immediately that's the next cut, right?
Yeah, this
So
is
actually,
this
no,
is
it's
worth
not
a month
enough.
of somebody's time to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, that
Yeah.
number was not. I was just going to say that. I can't remember if I said it at the time, but that number and the fact it's being paid in gold has your father's handiwork written all over it. He could have gotten, because most people, would have written that number like 1800 silver dolmar, right?
Yeah.
No, that's 180 gold, right? No, that's absolutely your father's handiwork.
Yeah, it seems like I absolutely imagine him putting the bounty on me and on Alexandre, if that serves his purpose. Putting it on Lucas specifically for arrest, trial, and incarceration for crimes against the Confederacy is very, that's a bold statement.
Surely that
I was
could
just
get
going
him
to say,
kicked
I
out
mean,
of
that's
the-
a... Yeah, go ahead, sorry, go ahead.
Surely that could get him kicked out of he wouldn't just be going back.
Yeah,
He
it's
would
not
be-
just like, oh, I want to find my son, so I will put a small bounty on his head. It's like, if someone finds this and turns them in, they're going to be tried
Yeah.
for crimes that didn't happen.
I want to find my son and let him know that I'm pissed.
And then I'll bail him out and he can drive home.
Oh.
I will bail out at least one of them, maybe.
Or just one.
Okay, yeah. I mean,
That's the reason
I
I wanted to. That's the reason I wanted to repost the text. It's literally been a year since you folks have looked at it, right?
Yeah.
And there's a lot of context going on in that blurb.
Yeah. Well,
Right.
I had always made the assumption that it was him that had made that bounty.
Yeah.
I have never been able to quite piece together why.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that he's a prick, so that might just be enough reason. But why he would also put the bounty on Alexander means because he has no reason to care about you. that I know of.
I should hope not.
If anything.
Yeah, back in character. He has no reason to care about you that I know of.
Okay. So then...
But your name is on the bounty post.
Well, yes.
Are they still gonna want, like, wouldn't they need all of them? Names on the bounty.
I mean... Well, I'm worth 100. So the rest of them worth 80. Divide that between the 4, and I suppose you can get...
Only the 3 of us were named on the poster.
Yes, I'm not happy about that. I mean, it's not good to be named, but I don't like the idea of Chevalier being property.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one, actually. Could we perhaps retire this chat to somewhere a little less little more inconspicuous?
A little less conspicuous.
A little less conspicuous.
Yes. Don't we need to go and talk to someone about your uncle?
Yes, actually. The Dashamali estate here in town might be exactly the kind of inconspicuous place we need.
I don't think that's inconspicuous. I don't think that anything to do with the Dashamali are going to be inconspicuous.
True, but I
But I
don't
like that,
think
so let's do it.
They can be inconspicuous if they want to be.
Actually, yes.
It's also daylight.
Yeah, I just don't think people will immediately look for us there. So it's a good starting point.
And they said, yes, let's do it.
I guess that's the plan then.
Well,
Michelle.
wait, hang on. Do you know where it is? Because I don't.
Weren't we told?
Yeah.
No,
It was
we're-
like they will like when you get there, go to this like the ambassador was like.
Yeah, but
I believe
We don't know
I
that.
was
Wow.
assuming that they would have
No.
also indicated
they
roughly. No, all right.
No, you were
No,
told
no,
where
no.
to go, and because no one
Yeah.
asked, everyone presumed. As a point of, for lack of a better way of putting it, the Dashamali are almost as bad as Alexandria. At the point they said the ambassador, and no one asked, it was obvious that everyone understood because Dashamali.
Yeah.
Of course, you'd know where they were.
of course.
Right. All right. I was just assuming that we didn't
No.
talk about it, but it was
No,
like,
I find this far more amusing. So there's going to be
Yeah.
that Scooby-Doo moment where we're all looking at each other going, what do you mean you don't know where we're going?
Everyone else has known where we're going this whole time.
My soul. Can you just find out?
Oh, I mean, Alexandra just goes up to the nearest person.
Excuse me.
Excuse me.
And yeah,
Excuse
Spider
me.
does the double take. It's like, that's what I was trying to avoid, but
Would you happen
But
to
here
know
we are.
where the Dashamali embassy is from here?
The who?
No, the Dashamali.
Oh, no, I don't know them either. But if you're looking for, embassy, you said? You're
Yes.
completely the wrong part of town, miss. This
Oh.
is where the butchers and cutthroats hang out.
Oh,
You're
no,
gonna
thank
want to down. He'll give you a long and involved chain of events about heading practically to the middle of town.
Okay.
So
Which direction
but
does he point? Because Alexandria will
That way, of
lose
course.
track.
Mm.
Thank you.
But here's the thing, right?
Yes.
And just ask any of the constabulary. Just tell them you're going to the Fountain District,
Fountain
and they'll just
District.
keep pointing you. All right.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Have a good day, miss, and watch out for the butchers and cutthroats. You'll
you
wander
too.
off.
And then every time she sees a constabulary, every time.
I was just gonna say, I figure it's a montage of the group standing in front of some armed guard with Spider trying to hide behind Mysel.
it's the exact same frame of like, and all three of them are in the exact same position, and then just
Yeah.
the background and the guard changes,
Yes.
and like they're not even pointing in a different direction. They're just like that way, that way.
Yep.
And they all look this. It's Officer Jenny.
It's different people, but then at one point it loops twice, and the person's like, that way.
we talked about this 10 minutes ago.
It's now time for us to take a break, but I have
I think it's an excellent spot for a break.
Philosophical question to ask before we go on break. Maybe we can think about it over the break. Is Officer Jenny a bastard?
I'm sorry?
I mean...
In the context of...
In the context of
Well, all
what?
cops are.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, yes. That's not philosophical, that's just truth.
In the,
Why would you ask me a
parents
true or
weren't
false
married.
question?
Yeah. The parents weren't married context. I was like, oh, I don't know.
That's I get why that would be.
That's why it was confusing.
Given my backdrop.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say something philosophy, true, false. What? Yeah, and I don't know who Officer Jenny is, so I have no opinion.
I'll wear my evil jacket. It's related to that.
I'm being silly, yes.
Okay.
My son was a huge fan of Pokemon, and my adopted nephew, if you want to use that term, was also a huge Pokemon fan. So I wound up taking him to go see Pokemon 2000 in theaters. So I wound up learning lore whether I wanted to or not, because otherwise these two were having no one to chat with for a while. So
good.
Yes.
That is the
But
only
yes,
correct
Film
answer.
too, Pokemon 2.
Oh yeah, no, I was actually very impressed with the production quality of it. But yes, we saw it in IMAX, which was amazing.
Let's
So
go on a break so I can reminisce.
Yes, absolutely. Let's do that. Punch the button.
I'm gonna punch the button. Okay. And we're back. I have forgotten how to count.
Howdy, folks.
Hey. I've forgotten how to
So
count.
I have one of those things about being a multi-generation gaming family. The reason I was a little bit late getting back is because my son and I got into a conversation, and I quote you, and because you have a Team Rocket jacket, he would love to see what the jacket looks like, so he knows if he can get one. And then that led to a discussion about consent for cosplay. Let's see the back. Oh yeah, that is fantastic. And then that ran into a discussion about consent when dealing with folks cosplayers at conventions, and that wound up turning into a discussion about the fact that Pokemon Snap just came out.
That's right. I have so much nerddom to access.
Yep.
And so little time. Sorry, we're gonna
lady.
cut this short because I have things to do.
Yes.
I gotta.
I mean, that Pikachu's not going to capture itself.
Right?
And that's it. Sam's out. Good night.
It was the racing back that just made it.
Where did you think
I was
got?
about to make a blasting off again joke, but
I made this myself.
That is fantastic.
Did.
All right.
This is not the game I'm playing today. Today.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll put the Pokeball down. And I'll take the jacket off because my dog looked at me sadly and I had to put the heating on. He turned up and he was like, I'm so sad. I'm so cold. And I'm like, it's really not that cold. It's really not. Like, it's not cold. And he's like, but I'm cold though. Like, okay, the heating's on now.
I'm not warm, therefore am cold.
I am sad. Make hap. Heat now. KJ, right. I want to be me when I grow up. That would be nice. Did we find the embassy?
Oh yeah, so we kept following.
Gosh, I hope so.
No, I thought we'd just leave it there. I thought it was a great. I thought there was a group just endlessly looping through the last 7.5 frames.
we get there and it turns out the initial person actually had no idea what they were talking about.
It's the long-running practical joke amongst the town guard to send people in circles.
Drop bears all over again.
So you folks will eventually wind up in Fountain District. Fountain District is so called because of the distinct absence of fountains.
I'm sorry.
Well, it's one of those things where there's this great mucking
see.
waterfall over there, right? And, like, you can hear it everywhere. So naturally, putting a fountain up would be a waste of time. So instead, what some wizard did a recreation of the mountain. The problem is if you call it the waterfall district, well, the waterfall's over there, and then everyone gets confused. So the miniature waterfall in the middle of the town square, which is an homage to the inspiration of why the town was settled, is in Fountain District, not Waterfall District.
First thing Alexandri says, that's not a fountain. It's a waterfall.
But it's an artificial one. Doesn't that make it a fountain?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's a fountain that looks like a waterfall.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't think I'm qualified to answer this question. And it's something I'm going to say rarely. Don't expect me to say it all the time. But I don't actually know.
Mm-hmm. Somebody clip that, please.
No.
Literally just, I don't actually know.
Our first piece of merch here on Unlawful Disorder is the Alexandri face t-shirt with the catchphrase, I don't actually know.
Streamlabs has nagged me 3 times this week about starting merch.
Streamlabs is right. Streamlabs knows.
All right. So all that said, Fountain District turns out to be a fairly large Plazo style square, big tall architecture. Obviously someone looked around and said, what's around me? Mountains. Let's make buildings like that. So they're comparable in height, I would say, to some of the buildings you've seen in Shining Capital. The ones that, clearly magic was used to get stuff up to the top floor because you're just simply not hoofing it that hot. There's no, the lifting it part gets complicated past the 3rd floor. They're not quite cathedral buildings, but they're these tall, narrow front, 3 or 4 story buildings, lots of windows done as archways to give this impression. It's an impressionistic view of what happens when you take a house and make it reference a mountain. Even the color palettes, it's these darker tones towards the ground that lighten as you go further and further up the house. The tops of the buildings, they used marble slate to give a snow cap. So the entire square looks like you're standing in the middle of this impressionistic mountain range.
I'm imagining Dutch thin houses.
Yeah.
That are colored like mountains.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good source. There's some Florentine and Milanese 1400s construction. That's kind of the same idea.
Okay.
How basically regular homes and offices built inspired by cathedrals, but in this case the inspiration is mountains.
Okay.
And then there's the Dashamali one with all the purple banners out front.
Oh, that seems about right. That's the one we want. We have a stash. It's like that. You should go to that one. Well, you can't.
Why are you still wearing that? We're meant to be undercover.
Undercover of what?
I mean, like, keep a low profile.
Have you seen me?
Yes, well, we'll work on that once we get inside.
Got some weird flashback to arriving in Glitterdilla Cove.
Time to flirt with everyone.
It's like we've had this exact conversation.
Have you seen me?
Make me get the veils out again.
No, I will not. I will not. You will not.
All right. So it turns out that the Dashamali embassy is more like the Ebon Elf embassy that has actually 3 different houses operating out of the same front door. And as literally, they just literally rotate the house colors up front every day. It is literal dumb luck that you arrived that the Dashamali colors were flying.
I do like me some dumb luck.
So yeah, so you arrive. There are everyone who's here right now is human, half elf, halfling, one rather peculiar looking gnome. But yeah, you can't see an ebon elf anywhere.
Well, I mean, it's daytime. What do you expect?
Well, I mean, the equivalent of Quidian, to be honest with you.
That's a good point.
Literally the guy whose job is to deal with the rest of the world when the place is awake.
It's outside. We should go inside.
On the Officer Jenny theme, is it exactly a Quidian?
Cut and paste a Quidian.
Except that it's not a Quidian, it's a Quidioff.
It's a.
That's awful.
Clip that so I can play it back anytime she complains again.
No. Now I'm drinking gin, in case anyone wondered.
Well, that's what it is.
Yes, the emissary. The position of emissary is what a Quidian was handling. Yes, so Equidian was, as an emissary, invariably a male from a prestigious family line whose task is to deal with the humans, etc., on behalf of the matriarch. While this is considered a substantial honor to the family, for the individual, it can be a mixed blessing that involves hours and years spent away from the core of Ebonkin life in the Grand Caverns, and instead the bright sunlight of strange and sometimes hostile lands. So, Equidian's take on the whole thing was I'm going to literally out awesome everyone around me.
You can try.
Yeah, exactly. So
we'll make our way inside and ask after a member of the family.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, for sure. So there's going to be a few minutes of confusion, I guess is the best way of putting it. A little bit of head scratching going on until one of you actually literally waves a sash in front of somebody's nose. They go, oh, you're one of them, right? I don't want to say that you were getting the runaround, but it very much felt as though everyone was being intentionally obtuse.
Oh, Alexandria would not. That's not okay. That's
the moment it starts, the sash just comes out.
The sash is immediately out. No. Do you know who I am? No, but you know what this looks like.
Yes, exactly that. Right. And then yes, you're going to get the moment. I think the impression Spider is going to get left from the entire thing is there's an awful lot of people who show up here who seem to around here expecting the Ebon Elves to involve themselves in day-to-day affairs, and bluntly the Ebon Elves don't want to. So you were literally getting the we'll just be annoying until you leave, so there's no particular slight given, but you haven't made any progress either.
A great job.
Yeah. I appreciate
the daytime desk clerk from an Ebon Elf embassy.
So after a little bit, I'm just double checking somebody's name here real fast because I don't want to give you the name of the wrong gnome, because it actually does make a difference in this town. God's sakes, Michelle, stop that. It's not that hard to click a button. Skill testing questions. Yes, there we go. So the gnome's name is Galerios. He is, I guess, the best way. Galerios. I will post it in chat because I know this is weird. Please hold. The good news is that it is a gnomish name, and therefore there are not 27 hyphens involved.
So many dashes.
So many dashes.
Is it a regular or a shiny Galerios?
I'm gonna say shiny.
Galerios is, if you will, the major domo of the embassy. Nothing happens without them saying, which is particularly amusing for someone who it gets exactly to the height of half a Chantal.
I managed to get a whole lot done for being one Chantal. I'm just saying, like, given I am in fact the standard. I get a lot done.
So half a Chantal high, dressed in a perfect.
This has just reminded me of Twitter discourse. Of course, Chantal, we have to address that you are minor coded. That was this week. That Twitter discourse.
I am minor coded.
Yeah, and any.
Does that mean that I am like on the low end of 5'2"?
No, it's any character under 5'7" apparently is minor coded.
Oh, that's
sorry,
right. Of course, that discourse keeps coming up.
See, I was thinking there was just no way that she was going to do a decent bass.
I mean, that too. No alto, yes. Countertenor, maybe.
I very strongly considered starting a lot of fights on Twitter by saying that male characters without beards are minor coded. But...
I mean...
Oh goodness.
Is Heyo minor coded?
No beard.
No beard. And
not under 5'7", so
not under 5'7", however, working his way downtown in age.
Come back in a couple hundred years.
For an 18-foot dragon, he sure is kind of small.
Baby dragon.
I was just going to say, and then we get into the whole discussion 5'7" what? You know, if we're discussing tens of yards.
I could be really tall if it's 5,700 millimeters. Would I still be tall?
So, yeah,
I apologize for the derang.
Yeah.
Hard swerve to the right, followed by a collision with the wall, and back to the game. So, yes, Galerios wears a monocle, and perpetually is therefore looking at everyone this way. Mostly because the monocle is just badly fitted, but he wears it proudly. It's got a little gem up in one corner, very, very... He's basically wearing a business suit. The best way I can explain Galerios is imagine Chucky in a business suit playing a role in The Devil Wears Prada.
The first Chucky I thought of is in the Rugrats, so I'm going to assume it's not that Chucky.
No, I'm talking about the murder doll from the horror movies.
So you're talking about the Rugrats, okay. I do know which Chucky you're talking about, yes.
Okay.
There were an awful lot of words in that sentence. Emphasis on the awful.
So, yes, and he's going to be very, hand-on, and he actually is standing on a platform so that he's roughly eye level with everyone else. His desk is actually on a platform, so that he's at the same height. His desk is at the same height as everyone else. And what is your business? Fine, you come in here waving a sash around. Yes, yes, yes. I'm not allowed to send you away, but what's your business?
Well, it's somewhat private family business.
It's always somewhat private family business. That's why you have a sash.
Okay, so we're looking to talk to someone in the family.
You are talking to someone in the family, but clearly that's not good enough.
Well, no.
You're not wearing your sash, are you?
You're adventurers, aren't you? I can tell just by the stupidity emanating from your mouths.
Just like big look to Alexandri. He's that cousin.
He's that cousin. Yes. What is the exact nature of your visit so that I can inform the ambassador before you go annoy his crumpet cart for no good reason?
We believe that the ambassador has information on either the disposition or whereabouts of my natural grandfather, Lucas Edgewater Sr.
His monocle will fall out. He will put it back in, and because of the expression on his face, his monocle will fall back out. He will blink at you. Who?
Another...
What name was that?
Lucas Edgewater Sr.
Oh, my apologies. One moment, please. He will pick up his monocle, hold it in his hand, and run to the other room, which involves climbing down a set of stairs on the side of his chair and darting into the next room.
As a member of the upper class, I never use this perk. I just have it. I never use it. As a member of the upper class, does it strike me that what he's about to do could get us in trouble?
No, absolutely not.
The opposite.
For lack of a better way of putting it, that was the if you hear this name, stop everything and get me out of bed moment.
Okay. What you was doing? Hey.
There's a mental list of, it's like there's the idea of like names to run from, and this is the names to run for.
If this liftish name shows up, take them to the sitting room, feed them coffee, call the town guard. If this list of names shows up, there's nothing I'm doing that is so important you can't interrupt me. Just long enough that you're starting to wonder if perhaps the gnome has run off, booked a ship out of town. The gnome and a very tall, measured, aristocratic fellow with a jaw that would be worthy of a modeling line will walk in. He has the light shade hood pulled up, but he's not doing it in the doom and gloom thing that that Aquidian always used to do. Instead, it is pulled forward almost in a hawk's peak, exactly enough to cover a little bit of shadow over his eyes without obscuring the rest of his face. He will smile, deliver a very polite bow.
Alexander curtsy.
Friends of the family, so good to finally meet you all. Please come with me. Have you eaten? I know it's early for you.
It is, but I would still appreciate something.
He will look over at Galerios, just snap a finger. Yes, my lord, and voop, off goes the gnome at just under redshift speeds.
Michelle, is it intentionally strange that this person called us family and not cousin? Or did it, not seem out of place? I don't know.
Okay, so this is where I'm going to ask you to make, or Spider, to make a learning roll.
Um, 10.
I think seems weak. I think it's not a turn of phrase you've heard used before. everything. I don't think it rings wrong. I just think it's going to go, huh? But nah, probably nothing.
Yeah. Because it's like a very natural thing to say in our society.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, that's exactly it. It doesn't sound out of place for anyone except Ebon Elves.
Yeah.
While
Okay.
while we're waiting, is he still there?
Who?
The person that came to meet us.
Oh yes, the ambassador. Yes. He as the gnome, like all but warps down the hallway, heading towards wherever you presume, towards a kitchen or a service area. The presumed ambassador will give you a polite nod and a quiet gesture to precede him into the next room.
As we go, Alexandra's just gonna quietly to Jasper. So, you didn't. Your father is here? And you just used a full name.
Well, it didn't really... It didn't seem to behoove us to beat around the bush.
No.
The Dashamali have done well by us, and they obviously have some attachment to Lucas and I's grandfather.
Yes, definitely.
Which
Or
makes
had.
it very likely that they're not in league with my father. The two did not get along.
That's polite. So you folks come in. It's essentially the equivalent of a smoking room. Some nice big high-backed comfy chairs, some beautiful objets d'art around the place. It's exactly that kind of classic elegance that you can just about run out of a printing press. I think if anything is going to strike both Spider and Alexandre simultaneously is how lacking effort this room is.
Just didn't try.
It's literally, I guess if you folks hadn't spent any amount of time hanging out with the Dashamali at their home estate and then wandering through their home in the Underveld, this would all be pretty awesome. This stuff would absolutely impress most Skysiders. They literally it's the equivalent of going and shopping at Neiman Marcus. There's nothing here you couldn't buy off the shelf. It's all expensive, it's all pretty, it's all artfully arranged, but they didn't try very hard. They literally just said, what's the minimum amount of work we have to do to impress the locals? That'll do it. Here, have a check.
Right, so Alexandra's just like, I've seen that, I've seen that, I've seen that.
My grandmother threw that out once.
I threw that out, that is... okay.
My name is Vanx. Vanix. I am the ambassador Dashamali at Dusseldorf. Welcome. How may I help you? You are, of course, cousins. Otherwise, you would not carry the sash. You've managed to impress my major domo with your name dropping. He smiles polite. He smiles kindly, but with a hint of amusement at Spider. How can I be of assistance? If Equidian is over the top, larger than life, loud without speaking, I think this guy is going to be setting off most of Spider's "there's a snake in the room" alarms. This is much more, if hanging out with Equidian is like hanging out with Al Capone, then this guy is much more like having tea with the head of the FSB.
Yeah, this guy. Yeah, I got that from the way you were playing him.
Okay, I'm just tired enough, and I've got a little bit of. Michelle has just a smidge of a headache. I just wasn't sure how well I was getting that across.
Yeah. He's sleazy but scary, and I'm getting it.
Okay, cool. Okay, I just like I say, I apologize for dropping into metaspace, as it were. I just wanted to make sure I was getting it right.
Yeah.
When he says how may I be of assistance, you're not. Your Spider is not unconvinced that could you murder this guy down at the inn would actually be an unreasonable request. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. He seems to have like.
It might be an expensive request, but it would be taken seriously.
He has surprisingly more disdain for like outsider cousins than any of the other Dashamali we've met. So I'm just like trying to get my bearings about how to treat this interaction. But we've already dropped the big name, and so I guess we go for it. I think Spider pushes his hair like back off his face, and drops out of Spider mode a little bit, and says, "Yes, well, my grandfather, Lucas Edgewater, reportedly came through here some years ago. Our entire family believed him lost and dead, and yet our new family," and he smiles and like looks around the room at something appropriately Dashamali in color, and looks back at the emissary and says, "Have informed us that you might have information about his whereabouts, or at least where he was headed when he became lost. I know I'm a little less likely than my older brother who was with me, but unfortunately he got lost down below."
I see. I'm very sorry to hear that. It's incredibly difficult to find your way. He pauses slightly, trying to be as diplomatic as possible. Once you get lost down there, it can be exceedingly difficult to eventually make your way home. I hope that will not be the case. Yeah. So, now I understand. He smiles slightly. Now I understand why it is you were sent to me. Yes. What do you know of where you're going? Anything?
It really depends what information you have. We have some clues about our potential direction. But...
Very well. You are, of course, aware that your grandfather was presumed lost for most of his career.
Indeed, until 2 weeks ago, I had no reason to doubt it. And there's like the subtlest glance at Alexandri on that one.
Well, there's exceedingly solid reason for that. The wreckage of his airship is on the cliffs, not far from Cliff Spider. The Dashamali have been aware of its location for some time, as have one of the Orcan tribes. But, quite bluntly, the Orcan tribes have very little use for the Dashamali or anyone who looks like us. And so it has been politely safe from prying hands and prying eyes of the Confederacy. Its secrets remain conveniently lost. The clan you wish to find, they are... One second, Michelle needs to double check something before I give you the wrong direction.
Head south, north.
Yeah, exactly. Things the NPC absolutely wouldn't do, and Michelle absolutely will.
Like Northeast, but it's south
the
and
other way.
north.
Yeah, exactly.
Correct.
It's about
In
the wreckage.
five-dimensional space, you'll be heading this way.
Yes. The wreckage is near the cliff. If you follow directly to the southeast along the escarpment, it's just beyond the edge of the explored area around Cliff Spider. Cliff Spider keeps its boundaries clearly marked as part of an agreement with the local tribes. If they cross that line, it is with banners raised, and it is for trade. And we do not cross that line. And thus, they only cross that line for trade. The local tribes are willing to tolerate Cliff Spider, but tolerate is their most generous.
Well, that is the direction we were headed, nonetheless, so I suppose we might see if we can take a look.
The particular tribe you're looking for, because there are a dozen which share border with Cliff Spider, are the Ashaga bred. They are. Go ahead, Jamie.
No. Yeah. How many in this tribe?
Just one sec.
That's okay.
A number in the 100 or more. They control 2 modest fortresses.
Is that about average for the Orcan tribes up in the plains?
One of the smallest, in fact. However, their mastery of magic, of the elements, marks them as one of the most powerful. The other tribes will often go to them for guidance in matters involving the future, and they will always go to them, to borrow the modern term for fire support. Do not ever underestimate an Ashaki bred who waves his hands and says, "Die."
Michelle, how many Orcan were in the war horde that we saw in that vision?
That many.
But like thousands, right?
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at wall orcs. Yes.
Orcan, as far as the eye can see.
Yeah.
All the orc. Whisper of the Wild. I can't remember what Papa Edgewater's called. Cedric. Would this man here tell Cedric Edgewater where we're going?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, while we're at it, I should do the thing. I will invoke Silver Tongued and find out a secret about this person from having talked to him for at least 5 minutes.
Sure thing. Is there anything in particular you're fishing for, or do you just want a dealer's choice, as it were?
the thing I haven't been able to scrut myself is
I am screwed.
is his attitude towards the wreckage, like whether he thinks it's incredibly dangerous, whether it's his attitude.
I guess the best way of putting it is when the Americans built a couple of the scientists, actual couple, were passing copies of the research in nearly real time to the Russians. And while at the time it was considered disaster and great treachery, what has since been determined was that their motivations were quite literally that if the Americans had the hydrogen bomb, then America would be a tyranny. If America and the Russians had the hydrogen bomb, then the world wouldn't dare use them. And so I think his view on that airship is very much that if the only people who have airships are the Confederacy, that's a massive problem, which is the reason the Dashamali have politely decided to forget where it is.
Yeah.
Just because everyone else is doing it, I'm going to use my perk Vagabond. Mysel pulls out food from somewhere and just starts eating it.
I like that that's what you decide to do.
Yeah, I was just going to say, almost on cue, the gnome arrives, pushing it with an actual towed by a Dalmatian cart worth of food that prances into the room looking like it's a little trotter. The tea kettle clinking away as it goes, heaped with all kinds of wonderful breakfast foods, etc. Just in time for Mysel to pull out something that looks like slightly roast rat.
He also eats from that table.
Mysel, you don't.
Mysel grazes a lot.
Mysel, you don't need to eat that. There's food.
It is food.
You don't need to eat that, so you can put it down. There's other food. Other food is available, and it doesn't look like that.
I'll have some of that as well. Yeah.
Oh, you should.
I have to eat. I'm a growing boy.
Alexandre confused.
Just grins and just takes something from the thing.
It's a rat.
Yeah, I think Spider says, well, I appreciate your candor, and I'm sure that
he will actually interrupt you, which is almost rudely. The matriarch's will is my mandate. I think it's not lost on Alexandre that that phrasing is very much "I told you because I was ordered to."
Yeah.
What do you think of the situation with Lucas Edgewater? Do you think he's alive?
It is not my place to have an opinion on the subject. I am told by the matriarch that you, if you are Alexandria, I believe, are a prophetess and are convinced he is alive, and I should not dare gainsay a cousin of the family. And he's going to smile at you in that ever so serpentine kind of way.
Okay, so precognition and would it be a bad idea to just kill him, because that's
When you said that the Ashnar bread were good with the elements, like magically, any in particular?
There's going to be this very long pause, and it's mostly because he's trying to come up with a polite, not street gutter way to say "fuck around and find out."
Oh.
There are not many survivors to give account of their prowess, merely that exists.
So not so not like specifically storms or something.
Please understand, I've never met any of them personally. I only go by the reports that I'm obligated to send to the families of the foolish.
Okay, thank you.
Families of the foolish?
Nonetheless,
we are not. He looks vaguely offended in that I'm obligated to be offended sort of way. He's actually kind of amused that he now gets to say the following bit. Well, yes, we are not barbarians, and while we wouldn't send 3 pieces badly charred, roasted, and electrocuted home to be buried, we will affect that affair. We will hide those details ourselves to reduce the impact upon the grieving. We are obligated to let them know what happened to their beloveds.
They get a really nice Tupperware container for the ashes.
It's wrapped in everything. Have you had any communication from or with... I've forgotten what her name is. Who did we talk to right before we came here?
The ambassador in Crusader?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's Mayafar.
Have you had any communication with Mayafar? Regarding,
of course I have.
Regarding someone called Genevieve Malfieri.
Please understand that
that bitch.
Have you seen those calves?
Yes, she's nagging when you arrived.
Now I understand why you're grumpy. I'm so sorry.
No, he's going to smile lightly. I have a stack of mail about that tall from my good cousin, which I have not yet had a chance to review. It arrived only moments before you did, of course.
Of course.
Very much appreciate you seeing us on such short notice.
As I say, the matriarch's will are my mandates.
Nonetheless, I believe that you and the family made very wise decisions keeping this hidden up until now, and I guess I appreciate your service to the family and possibly to the world.
He will give a polite, if perfunctory, bow of the head. He's sipping from a goblet of some mulled cider, good warm morning drink kind of thing. Keep in mind, you guys are in the foothills of a very tall mountain range, and the prevailing wind here at this time of day is towards the ocean. So there's the morning wind is chill as it sweeps down off the snow caps and the plains, right? And so, yeah, nice warm morning drink, right? He's going to, yes, a little, like I say, a polite yet perfunctory nod, a little lift of the glass and a sip of his drink.
Do you know, why a member of my father's personal guard might be in town?
I think this is going to be the first time you've seen him actually smile since you arrived. He's going to tap a little bell on his desk. It's going to ring with the sound of perfectly tuned crystal. And a few moments later, the gnome will arrive. Could you please bring me the paperwork concerning our new cousins? Yes, my lord. Boom. And a few moments later, everyone's favorite hyperspeed gnome will arrive with 12 sheets of paper and drop them on the desk. They're all identical. They're all wanted posters. I haven't the foggiest clue, he says.
How up to date are those wanted posters?
They were put up 2 days ago.
mean,
they came.
How
They were put,
is it for 3 or 2 people?
oh, it's the same printing.
Right.
Huh.
They went up 2 days ago. They came down the night of 2 days ago. He says with a curl of a smile. My people are very good.
So it's unlikely then that Lord Edgewater has made an unexpected trip to this free city of Dusseldorf.
I hadn't been specifically looking for him. That would be incredibly brash. Your father is a very well-placed gentleman. He has an extensive set of tentacles, if you will. I can't imagine he would come here by himself. He would come here himself. But I also wasn't aware that a member of his personal guard was in town either. So it's possible he's just being better than usual. Because of your father's position within the Confederacy, he is someone that the family is aware of.
Indeed. And I am glad to have been able to provide some information to you in return.
Check back in the morning tomorrow. I will leave word. Hang on, Michelle's having a bad day here. I'll leave word with. I just literally wrote his name down. Why can't I bloody well? I literally just copied it and pasted it. Oh, Jaileros. Yes, thank you. I'll leave. Sorry, I can't just got a wall of text, and my ADHD is just literally turning into a wall right now. Can't read it. Yes, I'll make sure that any information is passed on to Jaileros, and he will be able to advise you if anything interesting is noticed overnight.
Well, speaking of, any recommendations for where we might find lodgings?
He's going to pause for a moment. Yes, Crystal Scepter. If you head to the south, to the northwest of Fountain District, out through the gate, just on the other side, a very nice merchant district, very accommodations befitting a lady of your station, he says with a smile.
Thank you. How much do you know about what is happening in Shining Capital?
Let's do this a different way. What's your question? I'll tell you if I can answer it.
I just wondered if there had been any... I'm just wondering what news there is. Whether there is news about the Donadieu family. But I don't want them to be in the news. I'm checking that there is none.
Yep, just give me a second. I need to make him a roll to see if he can answer that question. First, can he answer the question? Second, is he going to answer the question? Or is he going to claim he has no clue what you're on about? Because that is an option, depending what the news is.
It's always an option.
2d8.
Don't be a mean dude. Hmm.
Uh, 15, 16. Yeah. And that is okay. Yeah. Okay. That's reasonable. The news I hear is largely diplomatic in nature, but I understand that there was a security incident at the Donadieu residence not long ago. No one was injured, but it made the whisper circles, if you will, social circles. Your grandmother's reputation, if you will. Doesn't reach here normally, don't get me wrong. From our perspective, your grandmother's a fascinating person, but largely irrelevant to our concerns beyond you. But yes, I distinctly remember reading something in a message packet 5-6 days ago. And then there was something going on in Glitter Delta Cove about a 10-day ago that had something to do with someone with your family name. I'm a little vague on them. I could go back and look it up if it's of importance to you.
No, I don't think so. 10 days ago, we were in Glitter Delta Cove, just to clarify. just to clarify.
Weren't we there like 14, 15 days ago?
Yeah, more like 14, 15 days ago, but yeah. But, fudge factor in time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wibbly wobbly
Between 10 and
timey-wimey.
15 days. That's fine.
Yeah.
It's also he got it 10 days ago. It didn't happen 10 days ago.
Yeah.
So there is a security incident. Is there any...
I have no details beyond the fact that none of your family were harmed.
Okay. Thank you.
Have a powder room or something where we might freshen up before we head out.
Of course. So yes, he will again ding the bell. Galaros will appear. Yes, my lord. Please, our good cousins are in need of a place to clean up from the long ardors of the journey through the Underveld. Possibly a place to rest their heads for a little bit before taking on the great city itself. Make them comfortable as befitting a member of the family. Yes, my lord. And he's going to give this really odd side-eyed look towards Spider, and then look back, and then look towards Alexandria. Please follow me. That is literally the fakest smile I think Alexandria has ever seen.
She follows, but she doesn't feel safe doing it.
So basically, it's 3 all-in-ones.
Yeah. I mean,
bed baths, small liquor cabinet, writing desk. And the bath is currently empty. There's literally a pull chain, ring for hot water kind of thing. And then
so I think as they're shown in, Spider looks at Alexandria and is unslinging his bag and starting to pull things out, and is like, you're right. I can't make you less you. Well, I can't make you less noticeable, but I could make you less you.
What? No.
My Spicer puts a hand up. I can make her less noticeable.
Spider's eyebrows could not get higher.
Alexandria is also...
That's what we did when we went to the wall.
Yes.
Would you rather... Well, I guess... Would you rather not noticed or not look like self?
I like looking like me.
I was just going to say, the major domo bows, excuses himself, and warps down the hallway.
It's a polite nod.
Wow. This is the part of the conversation I shouldn't be hearing. I'm out of here.
Well, I mean, if the two of you wish to be very careful, then I suppose your magic can do more work than mine can. He's just holding a makeup kit and...
I didn't mean to... I mean, if you want to
No, by all
No.
means.
Just remember, you weren't there when we did that, so
I heard the story, and
it's more just making it so other people don't look. But there's another option as well, which is just, well, he sort of frowned a little, and then just, I don't think I need to keep rolling that. There's 2 8s amongst there.
Yeah.
Alexandria now looks like the ambassador, and Mysel looks like the major domo, and Jasper looks like she.
I think these particular disguises.
You sound like she as well. No,
Oh.
it's not. That wouldn't work. It would definitely not work that way. I suddenly realized
Oh, it is very strange to.
it would be she sounding like Jasper.
That's.
That's even worse.
I don't like.
And
that.
like the mouth might not even line up, and he's just
Oh,
sort of,
okay. So
that
it's
might not
so
be.
it's so it's
I was
Jasper.
just
It's she.
getting my mouth around it. I thought that might be
I'm just
quite
gonna
funny.
No.
Like it probably would catch up, like because Mysel's basically like having to make it do the thing to match what you're saying. So it's like when you start talking, he's like, all right, hey, let me just.
No, I don't.
I'm just gonna say that so suddenly we have she subtitled as Jasper.
These particular
essentially what he's
disguises,
done.
Marcel,
He's-
might be a
he's
little bit.
No, I don't like it.
He just did phantasm over each person.
I appreciate the artistry, but I think these particular disguises might cause more questions if we're walking around in the daylight.
He dismisses it. He's like, well, that was just, as an example, I guess.
Can you?
Like,
Can
it
you-
could just be other people.
Could you make it so that Jasper?
It is a little tricky with the talking because I have to sort of match you in real time.
But you can't see. Okay.
I suddenly feel like a lot of time that I spent learning a very particular set of skills was kind of wasted.
Okay. So finally, you understand what it's like for me when you put veils on me. I spent a very, very long time learning
Born.
how to do this. You just don't understand. And I don't think you can.
As you wish.
Thinking about it, I think it would be tricky also with moving. That would.
Alexandria tries walking. Does it just like hover across the floor? Or does she walk out of it?
It'd sort of be like, well, you just walk.
Well,
it's like,
first off, is he already turned it off, so it's gone.
yeah.
Oh.
But if you used to
yes, you would.
regenerate it for testing purposes, I guess the best way of explaining it is that Mysel basically would have to sustain a telepathic link with you so you could figure out when you were about to take the next step. Otherwise, what's happening is that the phantasm just kind of slides.
Just
Because
clips a
people
little
aren't
bit.
seeing your legs, but the phantasm's legs aren't moving either. You're literally just kind of roller skating along.
Like he can like make it move, and like if he made like a person, and then like so he could have like a fourth person walking next to them, engaged in conversation, and that would be fine. But because it's covering someone else, he's just like, oh wait, hang on. And he sort of did it and was like, oh, I didn't think about that.
Hang on,
No, the first option is better. Let's just make people not look at us.
I mean, I could just blind everyone.
I think they'd notice.
Because they wouldn't see us. Which kind of the point, isn't it?
Well, I would imagine
they'd
that
think we
also
were
not
amazing.
being not noticing was part of that.
Well, I mean, they wouldn't notice us. They'd notice they were blind.
Yes.
There's no way to fault the logic.
The ethics are dubious, but the logic's fine.
Bring on evil campaign. I'm ready.
To be fair, honestly, it probably wouldn't be bad to just do both. Not both
Blind
of my,
them.
like your, because it's not foolproof or anything.
What, you think I should blind people?
Not
no, mine, not yours.
Oh,
That idea is definitely off the table.
okay. Why don't we just walk there?
You know you've got a step too far when Jasper is the voice of ethics in the group.
I mean, they'd only be blinded for...
It wouldn't be ethical.
Only be blinded for like a minute.
We're getting cheered on in the chat.
I noticed that, yes.
Blinding event.
She's not wrong. She's not wrong. I could also just make them sleep. Oh no, that's what makes him die. No.
Details.
I didn't think
Alexandra,
about
do you
that.
want to reach the song?
I'm sorry?
Do you want to reach the song?
The question truly is whether the song has reached me.
This isn't a metaphysical question.
Oh! Oh, right.
It's not about finding Jesus. It's about welcoming Jesus into your heart.
The song is here.
My point is, do you
Yes.
want to get to the Anvil Forge Mountains, or do you want to get captured, sent back to Shining Capital, and tried as a criminal?
I mean, both of them are kind of scary, so...
I imagine even if you were tried as a criminal, you'd still have a thing asking you to go to the Anvil Mountains.
Oh, I didn't think about that. So I would get tried and then still have to go back again. And then there's an orcish horde. I feel like the trial is probably less frightening, actually, when I think about it a little more.
A lot of work, though.
Yeah. Appointing a lawyer.
The thing is, your family would probably bail you out. I'm an actual criminal. I'm not going back there.
Well, that sounds like a you problem.
Okay. I'm going to put on a disguise.
Okay.
And the blind boy dragon can protect you, and I won't.
I never asked you to.
Fine.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is an excellent place to wrap for this week.
Not on tension.
As opposed to have you
Palpable.
I mean, with 3 chapters in, have you watched us?
Do you we?
Do I...
Do you even us, bro?
Do I even this thing, bro? Yes, I do this thing. Every week. We'll see you. I'm not just gonna... Can you imagine I just stop the stream?
Click. Lights out, we're done. Good night.
After all of my failures, just be like, 3, 2, 1. No, I just stop it. We're done. I'm gone.
Alrighty, folks. Yeah, this stream has been addictive today. I only glanced. I was sitting here. I glanced over at the clock. Said, probably need to worry about the time sometime soon. Oh, it's 15 minutes after when we should have wound up. Gotcha.
I forgot what time we finished. I looked at the clock and I was like, time zones.
What are they?
Because
Well, I just sort of, I'm just so used to Jamie sort of already being ready to tap Uncle at the, 20, 40 minutes ago that, yeah.
I have no idea how I'm alive right now.
Me neither.
Mm.
3.5 hours. Boom, boom, boom. I'm like 2 hours off of when I woke up this morning.
Presumably, I'm just running on raw adrenaline and sugar at this point, but...
Sugar's not a bad plan.
Gin.
Go on full circle and come out the other side and awake again.
Yeah.
Happens. Take my meds, start again. Let's go. Just keep rolling on through. We're gonna be back next week, right?
That is the hope.
Oh, wait. Someone's playing the outro. I'm so confused.
Sorry.
It's not me.
Sorry, I was just gonna say, being silly just to make Chantel's life interesting.
I
You're
already
getting
struggle with pressing the buttons,
Oscar
and now you're
music play out.
scary. We'll see you next week.
Yeah, for sure. Take care, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.